Hello, everybody. It's me, PSA Sitch, here with everyone's favorite. I was gonna make a really bad joke, and I'm not going
Were
to.
you?
I was. Adam Brendan.
What's up,
I want.
everybody?
I was gonna say straight shooter. Adam Brendan.
That's all right.
Today
I'm
we're
ready to
joined
take
by.
my shot today. We got Pisco in the bullseye here.
What up? What
Oh,
up?
Mr. Biden. How dare you?
Uh-oh, uh-oh.
So actually, a
Okay.
lot of insane stuff has happened since
Yeah.
we were gonna have this conversation. So I guess we should actually talk about that. Obviously, there's the assassination attempt on Trump, and I was curious
hmm
because you're a very famous Destiny orbiter. How do you feel about the Destiny self-immolation arc?
Yeah, I mean, what can I say? I think that there's a substantive critique about the hypocrisy, but I think
Hmm.
his comments that like express, and I think some of them can clearly express either um relief or like joy or somehow happiness that an innocent person is killed. I think that's unhinged. And of course that the president is or the former president is targeted is horrible. And so any kind of statement to the effect of like being okay with it or wanting it to happen, I think he's calmed down a little bit since then. And I think if you,
Hmm.
even though he sounds more unhinged, like believe me, he sounds pretty unhinged in the Piers Morgan discussion.
I watched that.
But
Yeah, yeah, it's
yeah,
crazy.
but
Yeah.
but I actually think he's become more calibrated. And if you hear him, he's kind of like, I'm not going to say it in front of these people. I'm not going to tell, like, I'm not going to condemn it in front of these people. And I think that that's getting to the heart of his, what I think is like a very wise critique about the incredible double standard, which I think is something that you guys appreciate. You guys go after the phonies and the fakes and the hucksters and the double standard people. So that I
Hmm.
think is fair game.
Well,
Well,
look,
it's
before we move on, I just want to point out that you did categorize the Trump supporter that got shot as an innocent victim, which,
Yeah,
yeah, I think
I think
that's
he
good.
is. He's an innocent victim, and he was doing no more, no less than what every American is entitled to do, which is participate in our democracy and attend a political rally. What could be more innocent than
Well,
that?
look,
Even if I disagree with.
I'm skeptical that Destiny would frame him as an innocent victim. So,
Well, I think that he's priced into that, like his conceptions, which I agree with, and in some way, I'm somewhat responsible in promoting about Jan 6 and people supporting basically an insurrection as president. But I don't think that, I mean, everyone has problematic beliefs. And yes, I agree. These are like very bad problematic beliefs. But when we think about innocence in the context of like a shooting, I think of like, were the actions being taken legal and in an unbiased frame, something that doesn't merit death. And so in that context, I think you meet the innocent qualifier. It's unlike,
Mhm.
for instance, I think some of these self-defense shootings where, is it an innocent person who's killed if they're aggressing on someone else? You can fill in the examples there, but that's kind of how I would categorize the term innocent. If we're taking like a look at broader philosophical innocence, then I guess no, he's not. But then who is, right?
Well, it was weird because when I was watching Pierce Morgan, we might cover it on the stream, I don't know, but I think that there is a good point that in there, nestled within Destiny's sort of being unhinged, which is that, yeah, like, a lot of people on the right are being hypocritical in terms of making fun
Mm-hmm.
of the violence of, the Nancy Pelosi's husband and the rhetoric that has been kind of ratcheted up on both sides. And I've always said like kind of the problem with a lot of this political rhetoric and the hyperbole is that essentially it's like everyone just keeps hyping it up, hyping it up, hyping it up. And it's not like quote stochastic terrorism or it's not advocating for violence until someone does something violent. And then suddenly, oh, then it's all becomes like a problem at that point. And I think so. I think there's like a good point to be made there. But the problem is like, and it would have been interesting if Destiny could be like, Dave Rubin, why did you make fun of, Paul Pelosi getting
In
hit with
real
a guy?
time.
Yeah, yeah, like, and all these other things, like that would all be like good discussion, but he can't. He cannot make any of those points because the way in which he's talking about it and like why do you think he's like self-sabotaging the good points with like the unhinged rhetoric about just kind of like talking the way he's doing it, like handling the situation the way he's handling it, presenting it, I
All right,
should
this
say,
is
this way.
this is a Sitch and Adam exclusive. This is what I really think. Okay, I
Okay.
think that Stephen has a lot of great points about the hypocrisy you just mentioned about the Rubin stuff, but I don't disagree with what you just said about like he's undermining his authority to speak on those issues when he refuses to condemn it and refuses to, or he has, in a sense, condemned it if you listen closely, but it's not in the way you would want. And it was after his initial comments, which I think has soured people's view on it. If you're asking me what my genuine thoughts are, I think he's very angry and frustrated. And I think that he is right to be frustrated and angry at the hypocrisy. But I think that it's clouding his judgment. And I think that you'll see more and more calibration from his critiques. And I think you're starting to see that. And I'm hoping that we can move from like the initial comments, which I think are somewhat based in like an anger and an emotionality, to like, okay, let's get to the heart of your critique and let's just focus on that.
It's
That's kind of
impossible.
my thoughts.
He can't. It's impossible at this point unless he goes back on what the things he said, which he won't. Then it doesn't. There's no going forward from this at this point. It's over.
Yeah, I think that the method to do it all right, and this I think is true of maybe even our conversations as well, or really anyone on these platforms. Actually, I've seen you guys. One thing I'll comment well on Sitch is in the conversation we had about like, the New York Times and its coverage of the Trump trials. You like in real time change your opinion, and I was like, oh, that's a really good thing that you were able to do in real time about whether or not they were skewing it, right?
Was he rewarded for that?
We'll get to that later.
Well, no, look, get to it now. Was he rewarded for that? What happened when he did that?
I think in real time, in the immediate aftermath,
like, Destiny framed him as like a flip flopper. Destiny framed him as a fucking idiot. That's what happened.
Yeah, maybe that was a mistake, and maybe that was a mistake for me to go hard on you guys afterward. That could have been a mistake, and maybe we should have rewarded it more. You have a point, Adam. Okay,
thanks.
And I think that was a good moment that showed a rare trait, which is the ability to, in real time, concede on a direct point. Not everyone has that ability, and I will tell you with experience, love Steven, mean it, but he is not someone who you want to be like, so you completely repudiate what you just said, right? And he'll be like, okay, I guess I repudiate it. Like, he won't do that. It's just not in his personality. The way you go about seeing that change and how he's approaching things is more subtle, and where I think you shift the conversation from, okay, you disavow everything you said, right? To more like, of course I condemn. And of course, I may have been a little bit too rash in my comments, but what I was getting at, which you haven't acknowledged, but we'll fill in the blanks. That's where I think you would see the change. And that's human behavior, honestly. And I think most people, I have to say, are like that, where if you direct them to their comments and say, this was wrong, wasn't it? It takes a rare person to be like, I was totally wrong.
That's true.
Like
and that's
Sitch.
why I am a rare and based person, unlike 99% of the population.
Sure, yeah.
But
yeah, 99.9.
But no, I mean I agree with what you're saying about Destiny's behavior, which is that, and I even said this, when we talked about this, is that like he's angry about, whatever, arguing with Trump people, and his anger and his emotionality about it and his kind of like, I don't know, seeking of revenge in an emotional way has basically destroyed his ability to communicate what I think would be an effective and valuable point to the political space.
Yeah, you're saying nothing. Yeah, I agree with you. That is ultimately true. But like, have a window into his view, and I think you guys do have a window into it.
I mean, I've argued all the same. Yeah. It's it's so ridiculous too, because like I hear he's all arguing about the elector stuff. I'm like, I've been arguing about the elector shit for like 4 years with people, in our chat and on the stream. Right, exactly. So it's just like I understand all that conversation, right? But I think it's interesting analogy, I guess, because I think you basically are in the same boat as Destiny whenever you behave the way you do on Twitter. Like if you have some point you want to talk about, like that's fine, but then you get unhinged and you let your rage consume you and you start like pissing all over people and yourself on Twitter, and it's just completely like, okay, like what's the point? Like there's nothing to deal with at that point. You just destroy your entire message.
So you think that in a similar way to Destiny's,
I think in the exact same way, yes.
In the exact same way that Destiny's message is destroyed by saying that like he hopes that they would have aimed better. That the way that I'm framing my messaging on Twitter, destroys any kind of salient
whatever you're trying to accomplish. Yeah. What are you trying to accomplish when you talk to people on Twitter? Are you just trying to you're trying to convince them? You're trying to change someone's mind? What are you trying to do?
I think it depends on the context of what I'm doing. So in the situation, we can talk about specifically the Adam tweet, the Adam files, the Twitter
Hmm.
files.
Yes.
Or we could talk about just in general. But
No, with the
if
like specifically
yeah,
with Anna makes a comment about voting for Trump over Biden because Biden is too enfeebled to be president, and then you become unhinged on Twitter. And I guess
yeah.
what is like the point? Like, what is your goal exactly to try to accomplish in those tweets?
So my goal in those tweets, initially, let me give you a little bit of chronology, and I will weave in the point of what I'm seeing. I see a bunch of comments about Biden's capacity. And the comments, by the way, and I'll give Adam a concession here, this is not some fringe opinion that Biden does not have the mental capacity to effectively govern. That is not
Hmm.
fringe. I'm not pretending or trying to explain or say that, like, oh, you're crazy for thinking, like 80% of the country, I think, or something approaching it, thinks that he can't do it for 4 more years, right? I think that was the polling. I think you guys might be familiar with that. So I'm not, I see that tweet from Adam, right? And it frustrates me because for the same reason that Stevens may be frustrated by the quote unquote double standard. Because I see him, comment publicly, which I think it's fair to, if someone's commenting publicly, to respond to them publicly, if it's a public discourse, though maybe in the future I might DM him privately. And what I've been doing, not just to Adam, is okay, you might have this true critique about Biden, but you would agree, wouldn't you, that Trump is worse, and or that you would never vote for Trump since he is worse. And I see Adam kind of be like a little coy and cute about it and be like, never say never. And my point in that situation isn't to like paint Adam to be a crazy person, because I actually think that the election is going to be decided by people who think the same way as Adam, by people who think that, okay, they hate Trump, but Biden is too far gone or something like that. That's not, like I said, it's not an unheard of opinion. What my point in that conversation is to try to weed out, that is to distill, to extract from Adam a rationale, a weighing of one versus the other in terms that can be understood, and where my audience and other audiences can see it, and where counter arguments can be given in response to it. And so it kind of escalated to like, okay, never say never, and then I responded like, okay, would you vote for Trump or Biden? And it's kind of like, extracting teeth, and then sort of saying, well, do you agree that Trump committed a coup? And he's like, I'm not going to answer that question. I'm not going to give you the rationale. And it kind of, in my opinion, and I'm sure Adam has a different, he probably thinks that the conversation was toxic to begin with, and so this is all bullshit. And I'm ready to hear that. I sort of start to think that, like, okay, he is not willing to engage. He's not willing to give his rationale in real time in this forum. And so might as well recall him to what he said in the past if he's unwilling to answer the question about, and force him really publicly to make a response to this claim. That's my take on it.
Yeah, but see, that's what your okay. What your goal is not accomplished by any of your actions at all. Because if you want to say, okay, if you want to say, I think Adam has a rationale that a lot of people have, and I want to understand it and have a discussion about it, that's all you have to do is be like, oh, let's have a conversation about this on stream at some point. Because and I know, and everyone in the world knows that Twitter is probably like the worst form to have a sort of long form conversation about a complicated topic. But you didn't do
That's
any of
not,
those
yeah.
behaviors. So I don't understand. That's why, like, I don't understand when you say that's your goal. I don't actually believe that that's your goal.
So you don't believe that my goal is to have a just like
No,
someone put out on
not at
paper
that moment. Not at
Look,
that
look,
moment. That's not your goal.
I'm so
Yeah.
glad the thing came up with Destiny, with Sitch reversing his opinion in real time. Because how was he rewarded for that? You're basically asking me to do the same thing on Twitter. How are you going to reward me on it? Like, it's no mystery how you're going to reward me on it.
When you say reward, you mean
You're not going
reward
to
you for
reward
being
me on it.
honest,
Yeah.
for being honest about your
Look,
rationale?
there's no point in having these conversations with bad faith actors, man. Especially on Twitter.
When you say bad faith actor, you're saying that I'm bad faith because my true
Yes.
motive is to ridicule and to promote
Yes.
myself.
Of course.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I don't think that's true, and there are a couple of reasons for that.
Well,
Like,
obviously you
yeah,
wouldn't. It's you.
I know, but I can only speak to what I perceive my motive to be, and I can tell you honestly, like, I really like you guys. I'm not trying to ridicule you as such. If it's something that happens, as if it's the case that I point to an opinion that I think of yours is ridiculous, and the natural extension of that is that you're ridiculed, that's unfortunate, but that's only a byproduct of what's going on. And
No, but
so,
that's
as an
bullshit,
example,
though. That's
yeah.
bullshit. You know,
That's
that's
total
bullshit.
What do you
bullshit.
mean?
That's 100
Wait,
because
what is
obviously
bullshit?
Because the way you're
people
framing it
wait
is, go
because
ahead,
the
Sitch.
people that follow you are like hate Trump, and all you have to do is be like any sort of argument that could have the most bullshit logic behind it or whatever. As long as it's
Mhm.
anti-Trump, you're going to get a bunch of seal claps from your audience. And if Adam has a bunch of people who like Trump and he does this the same thing in reverse, he's going to get a bunch of claps from his audience. Okay, so it's nothing to do with being like, oh well, I'm just saying things, and if what you said is ridiculous, and my audience who is primed to believe, already has all this preconceptive notions about politics, oh well, then what you say is ridiculous. That's bullshit. That's not what's going
I
on here.
mean,
That's
Sitch,
why I
why do
asked,
you
but
do
wait,
what
that's why I
you?
asked the
Yeah.
question, which is if the goal was to do what you said, to extract this argument, why not just be like, oh, why don't we have a conversation about this? This is an interesting topic that we could have a conversation about.
It's something that I could have done. I didn't do it because on Twitter you tweet and you respond to things, and that's another form to have a conversation. What you're saying is that there might be a. Oh, wait. Let me finish. That there might be a preferable forum to have a conversation, but that doesn't mean that Twitter is off limits. You guys tweet at people,
I
presumably
never
for
said that.
reasons.
I
You
never
you
said that.
respond to. Wait, hang on a second. You respond to people for reasons. You like it or not, you do have conversations on Twitter, and so for you to say it's illegitimate for me to have a heated conversation on Twitter, I don't know what planet you're
I
on. You
never
guys
said,
have
wait,
those
well, hold on,
conversations.
hold on. Don't twist what I said. Okay.
Oh,
This is
okay.
the exact conversation that we had on Twitter. I
Okay.
have no delusions about the sort of interactions I have with people, both by commenting on their videos and on Twitter. I'm not gonna like
Okay.
I'm not gonna quote tweet someone on Twitter and be like, look at this fucking retard. And the person's like, oh, why did you do that? I'm not gonna come up with some lie, some
Well,
self-serving
what's the lie? Why do you do
rationalization,
it?
some
So why?
self-serving. I'm
So when
about to
you
tell
quote,
you. I'm about
okay,
to tell you. Okay. I'm not going to come up with some self-serving rationalization where I'm like, oh, listen, I'm just trying to extract the deeper argument here to blah, 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 blah. No, I'm going to be like, I thought what this person said is fucking stupid. And I want to just make
to
fun of
what
them and
end?
dunk on them for it. Okay. Or I want to show my audience that what this person's saying is a lie. All right. That's what I'm
Wait.
going to say. I'm
So
not going to create this like bullshit framework that you've created.
hang on a second. So when I say to extract the argument, it's not just. I hope you didn't think I meant for my own benefit and just as a purely intellectual or theoretical pursuit, because I am myself truly interested. It's a social media feed. The point of the feed and the conversation is not just for
What was
me
the argument
to
you were trying to extract from our interaction that you felt
to
compelled to quote tweet every single part of our conversation
All right.
to
So
your
just to be clear,
audience?
I'm
Yeah.
gonna finish what I was about to say, and I will respond to that. So the purpose of these conversations, and I never implied that it was just a purely internal, self-focused thing. When I said it's to extract the argument, it's of
Mm-hmm.
course on social media to extract the argument for the purpose of my followers, for people seeing it to look at.
How are you
It's
going to
not
extract the
just
argument if Adam's not going to engage with
oh,
you?
okay. So just to be clear, most people that I engage with in these on Twitter disputes, they
Mm-hmm.
will present arguments, they will put statements, and they respond to it, and they won't act like, okay, I'm gonna cool off. All right,
Mm.
they will respond in substantive ways, and to the extent that they don't, that's an indication maybe that they don't have a good substantive
So are you
response.
saying that
You
like
ask
getting
me,
all those clips, that's like you're trying to like bait Adam into response? Is that the
no,
motivation?
so you would agree, wouldn't you, that Adam, when asked if he thought that January 6th was a coup, did not answer. Do you agree with that?
So
I've
can you
answered
repeat
on
that?
stream like a dozen fucking
Wait,
times.
I'm
So
sorry.
look,
In the context of our Twitter conversation, would you or would you not agree that Adam did not respond when asked by multiple people, do you think January 6th was a coup?
I say I don't know. I didn't read the whole thread
yeah,
between you guys.
Okay.
totally.
Yeah.
So that's what happened. And Adam knows
Mm-hmm.
it because he responded to it. He
Look,
was unwilling to
I
address that.
look, I did not respond, obviously, and I told you why I
Yeah.
didn't respond because, like, your bad faith and whatever response I make, no matter how much I pour over it, you're going to find a way to twist it into saying the opposite of what I intended. So, what is the point of
It's
responding?
not it's not twisting to say, hey, Adam, you think that this thing is really bad. Why don't you say a little more about how it trades off and how you weigh it versus something else? And yeah, I understand that we have another relationship that it could have been done on stream. And I guess I'd like to, I'm sorry that I didn't elaborate
No, no, no,
on
no, 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 no,
stream
no, 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 no. This is all performance and nonsense. Okay.
right
You're
now.
smart enough. Yes, you're smart enough to know. Okay, just imagine this scenario in your mind, right? You're standing there, Adam's standing there, Adam says something, you disagree with it, and you're like, oh, why do you believe that, Adam? and then you have and Adam's like, well, I believed it because X, Y, Z, right? And then you guys have an argument or debate or whatever. Okay. That's
Yeah.
scenario A. That's like a normal human interaction, right? That's a very different scenario than you guys are standing there. Adam says something that you disagree with, and then you pull out a mega bullhorn and you're like, hey, look at this fucking retard over here. Look, he said this stupid, crazy shit. Come gather around here. And you gather around 100 people. And then you say, okay, Adam, now explain yourself. Explain what you said. And then you sit back and you're like, oh, listen, I'm just trying to distill the argument. Okay, I'm just trying to have a rational conversation.
So what I'm doing is no more, no less than what you guys do on multiple occasions all the time. When you find the hucksters, the fraudsters, the shamsters, and you see what they've said in the past and compare it to what they're saying now and say, hey, what gives? Explain yourself. That's no.
I'm not
less
trying to have
no
a conversation with those people. Yeah, if those people didn't want to talk to me or were mad about me, I would be like, that's completely logical, rational thing. I would never do that with a person. And maybe this is the difference, the moral difference between me and you and a lot of other people on the internet. Okay. I would never if I've had a good conversation with people, which we've had good conversations, and we've tried to bury the hatchet with you at least twice. Okay. I would never have a conversation with someone that I thought was good or I was friendly with or cordial with, and then feel like, instead of having a conversation with them, let me go over their video with a fine-tooth comb and rip it to fucking shreds. I wouldn't do that because I think that's an immoral action to do. Okay.
As between people with whom you have a social relationship. Fair?
Yes.
Okay. So that's okay. And I understand that. If you think that there was a betrayal because we had a social relationship, I'm sorry. I am. But what you're asking me to do
betrayal.
Is say
it's showing again, you are like Destiny in this moment. You don't have control. What you're saying is bullshit. What's true is that you just got angry at what Adam said. You got triggered by what Adam said because you really, really don't like Donald Trump. And you just went off. You just couldn't control yourself and you just went off. It's what you did in the other times you've done this in the past too, where you went off because of the AOC tweet, which was completely unhinged, or the second time when you went off and you ran to Destiny to cry to Daddy Destiny about us. It's like ridiculous. Instead of just being like, oh, let me just have a conversation with these people.
I totally disagree with the frame of the previous things that you mentioned. Number one, when you say run to Destiny, you say that if I mention offhand your position on the speaker race.
You didn't mention offhand. You literally ran on stream to talk about a position which you strawmanned, and it's not even that strange or weird when we had a conversation. I don't agree that I strawmanned it.
Okay. I don't agree that I
strawmanned it. You 100% strawmanned it.
Listen, you guys will reference other people's positions all the time on your streams. And people with whom you have relationships with, okay? And I think that I'm sorry that I mentioned your position in a way that you think misrepresented it. I think that this is a bit of an overreaction. I think it's a bit of an overreaction.
It's not an overreaction. This is what always happens. This is what always happens. I'm nice to people. Wait. This is what always happens. I'm nice to people on stream, and then they go on Twitter and they act unhinged. And as you recall from our last conversation, after you ran to Destiny and cried about it, instead of just having a conversation with me, after we had the conversation, I, out of the complete magnanimous moral spirit of my own heart, had you. And I don't remember if it was Josiah or IRI. Yeah, it was IRI. Yeah. Had you both comment on a completely unhinged, like pro-Hamas person in order to try to bury the hatchet and have our audience not hate your guts and be like, listen, we can all be on the same side. Okay. And you even acknowledge that in the thing. So I'm sorry that after going out of my way to be kind to someone who is a fucking piece of shit to me, that then I get a little mad when they're a piece of shit to me and Adam on Twitter again because they can't control themselves. Because you can't control yourself, Pisco. You don't have any fucking control.
Okay, I think that this is a very emotionally charged conversation. I'm happy to not reference your opinions outside of you. It's hard for me to know in advance what you will construe as a misrepresentation.
Why are you lying? Why are you lying?
Right now
you're lying right now. And you know it. And everyone listening knows it. I never said you can't reference our opinions. Okay.
Yeah. So I didn't agree with your opinion in that moment. And you didn't think that it would be good for me to mention that disagreement on Destiny's channel.
What is the point?
Okay. Is that fair of what you're saying?
Yeah, it's opposed to just saying, oh, I don't agree with this opinion. Let me go talk to Sitch about it before I run to the echo chamber of Destiny's audience and go attack.
Come on, man. Here. I mean, you know that I go on that channel almost always to disagree with him and not to engage in a kind of echo chamber. I reach out to
spare. You think really? You think when you strawman my opinion, that's going to be like, oh, Destiny be like, oh,
I don't agree that I strawman.
You're wrong, Pisco. You went there to get a mob of people against my opinion, the same way you're trying to get a
That
mob
is
of
totally
people
untrue.
against. It's 100. Why did you when we were going back and forth on Twitter about your
Yeah.
interaction with Adam, and I was saying, why are you doing this? If you actually believe in changing Adam's mind or trying to get the bottom of it, which you said in Twitter that that's what was your goal, you know that what you did and quote tweeting it to everyone in the audience and having people put subreddit posts about it on Desi subreddit, you know none of that's going to change
Wait,
anyone's
wait.
mind. You know it's going to make everyone
You
dig
think I'm
in. What
promoting?
is the
So,
wait?
do you think
What
that
is
I
the
have a
point
role
of
in
this action?
of which action are you talking about? You think
Of
so? There
just
are
of
multiple
when we're
actions
going
you
back
laid
and
out.
forth of just quote tweeting everything I'm saying to your own audience, so that
Okay,
everything is like blasted to your audience.
so you're talking
Every
about
reply.
so I'm retweeting most of my replies. You're talking about that or the subreddit activity,
Yes,
which I have
yes.
zero
Every
part of.
reply that
Okay.
you made to me, you retweet to your own audience, and then it gets picked up on the
What
subreddit.
subreddit activity?
So you are accusing me of being involved in manufacturing or creating or promoting in any way Reddit threads about you and you
What
guys being
is the
secret.
point when we're going
Yeah,
when we're
I'm
having the meta
Adam asked me a
conversation?
question.
No, 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 no,
Yeah,
no, no, no. I've asked this question 4 times.
about to respond. Yeah, I'm
What
about to
is the
respond to you.
point of you retweeting, quote tweeting yourself in every reply to me? What is the point? What's the
So
purpose of that?
I do that with almost everyone I reply to. I reply to, so I retweet it. So it's not just a
Yes.
you thing.
Yeah, I know you do.
Like,
I know you do. Yes.
okay. So can we both agree that it's not targeted to you as an individual or anyone
I never
else?
said it
To the
was.
extent that, okay. All right. So when I do that, it's because I think the natural conclusion that you can draw from that is I want more people to see it. Is that fair?
That's obviously what you want. Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So what about
What is
that
it?
is
Why? Wait,
inconsistent with
why do you want more
wait,
people to see it?
because I want people. Is it a social media thing? I want people to see my arguments. I want people to see the people I'm arguing against.
Oh, you just okay. Oh,
Any
okay.
about that?
So,
It's any of that
so
inconsistent with
if
anything I've
so,
just said.
is it more important that people quote see your arguments, or that the person you're talking to, maybe changes their mind?
It's more important in that moment for me in that moment
Yeah.
for people to see the arguments and to see what I'm saying in response to
Oh,
it.
okay. So when I accuse you of being
Yeah.
performative and not actually caring about changing anyone's mind, that's true. You just agreed to that just now.
No. It's not true. If what you're saying is performative means being duplicitous or lying about your opinion or doing whatever.
That's not perform. You're putting on a performance.
Yeah.
Your primary goal is to put on a performance for an audience.
If your definition of performance includes completely good faith engagement in an argument and letting people see it in the most visible way, then by the letter of the rules, it's performative. But then anything I put on Twitter is performative by definition. And so it's a useless thing to say that I'm mean about, because I'm always performative on Twitter to the extent that I'm trying to have people engage with content that I find is interesting. And I mean, you asked,
yes. Right.
Yeah, go ahead.
Right. Yeah. So when okay. So you don't act again, and you're smart enough to know that when you're quote putting on a performance, putting people on blast, okay, on Twitter or on social media or on YouTube or on anything, that's going to make it so the person is significantly less likely to change their mind. That they're going to make it more likely that they're going to dig their heels in and just say "fuck you." Right? You're aware of this. You're not stupid, right?
That's on them, and that's to their detriment. Because
whoa,
wait a minute. That's on them, and that's to their detriment.
Okay. So when the Palestinian protesters, they say from the river to the sea, and they say intifada, and people think, oh my God, they're supporting Hamas. They say, no, I'm not supporting Hamas. Oh, that I guess it's just on the other people. They just should have listened to the protesters instead of the protesters not being fucking retarded and reframe their fucking arguments in a way that actually gets the goal that they want. In the world to happen.
That example, you understand that example just destroys your point, right?
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, it does.
Unless you're on the side of the Hamas, unless you're on the side of the Palestinian protesters,
no,
it doesn't.
I'm not on the side of the people who are saying to the river to the sea. But what you're suggesting is in those contexts, when they're shouting from the river to the sea, they're not being heard in the right way, and their message is being destroyed because of how inflammatory it is. I am telling you right now that it is my hope and position that our engagement on that Twitter will affect other people's opinions. And so, unlike the people who are shouting from the river to the sea, I am mindful of the engagement, and I think I'm giving
that's where you're lying, or that's where you're deluding yourself. Okay,
okay,
because you just said you're hoping that our interaction is going to change other people's opinions. It's not going to change you and my audience's opinion whatsoever, and your audience already agrees with your opinion anyway. So you're not changing fucking anyone's opinion. That's why it's performative.
Not necessarily, and also part of this entire
yes, necessarily, yes.
No, hang on. It's not necessary. Just so you're aware that everyone who follows me agrees with me. I have as you may be aware, tons of reply guys who disagree with almost everything I say. You
You think
understand
there's
that?
going to be a bunch of Republicans that we're going to see the interaction be like, oh,
Wait,
you know,
can
Pisco
you
makes
answer the
a
question?
good
So,
argument right here.
do you or do you not acknowledge that there are tons of people who follow me who disagree with me on a bunch of shit?
I don't fucking know.
Okay, I'm telling you, I'm representing to you that that is the case. That there
Do
are
you think,
tons of
okay,
people
you're going to
who
wait,
follow me and
you
disagree with me.
honestly think that someone who disagrees with you on Trump, okay, is going to look at your interactions with me or Adam on Twitter and be like, wow, Pisco made a good argument. I'm suddenly not going to vote for Trump now.
I think that people who see that argument either and notice that there's no comeback or not one that's convincing at all will either A, be more apt to agree that therefore Biden is the preferred choice, or B, it'll give people who are already agree that Biden is, or
I don't
B,
believe you. I don't believe you. I don't, you're just, this is so
wait, hang on a second.
nonsense.
Wait. Do
Yeah.
you want to hear what I'm saying?
Okay, go.
Okay. Do you think convincing arguments, strong arguments have any tendency to change people's views?
Sure they can.
Okay, so then what about what I'm saying?
Setting up dunk
is like,
attempts on Twitter is not a convincing argument
Oh my
to
God.
anyone. It's setting up a
So
dunk
now,
attempt for your echo chamber. It's a seal clap.
I mean, now you're saying dunk attempts aren't arguments or something. I
They're
don't know what
not
you're
really.
saying.
No, they're not.
Okay, what are you construing as a dunk? A dunk attempt is what?
A dunk attempt is that when I am having a conversation with you, asking you why you being a fucking prick, and you're not actually manifesting the goals you're claiming to want to manifest. That you just have to go completely be dishonest about it, completely try to worm out of it, reframe everything I'm saying about it, and just blast it to your audience so that you get a bunch of likes on Twitter,
Yeah,
as opposed to actually engaging with what I'm saying. That's a dunk attempt. Okay.
So like I believe that I'm not reframing things people are saying. I believe that I am actually engaging with them. That's why I spend the time to do it. I do it with people who are big names, like small names, whatever. Nothing about what I'm saying, whether, the fact that I'm doing it to my followers is inconsistent with the goal that I've expressed to you, which is to have people see these
Okay,
arguments.
let me ask you a question. What would be, if you have a crystal ball here, okay, and you say, okay, I can interact with some, I have a disagreement with Adam. And if I interact with him in one way, he's going to change his opinion. And if I interact with him another way, he's not going to change his opinion whatsoever. Okay. Which way are you going to behave after that point?
If my goal is to convince Adam, I should take the approach that most is like open to him and is not antagonistic.
Don't you think that the most persuasive way that you could, quote, distill your argument for your audience would be to convince the person you have the disagreement with?
I didn't think that I had a substantial likelihood of convincing him at all. And if what you're saying is that Adam, wait, if what you're saying right now, Sitch, and this I think is a huge insult to Adam. What you're saying is that if I were more polite to Adam, I might actually convince him that Biden is better than Trump in this moment. And if that's what you're saying, then holy shit, we have a problem here, folks. That the tone of voice I take or the context of how the argument is presented could like change the disposition of who Adam's going to vote for. That doesn't say a lot of your opinion of Adam with respect to his views and how he considers them.
No, my position,
Do you understand what I just said?
I understand exactly what you said. And my position, which is what we were talking about literally in the beginning of this conversation, which you agreed with 100% certainty, was that you could make the exact same argument with what Destiny's saying right now about his unhinged shit with the Trump assassination attempt and say, yeah, there's a point in there that I think is a valid point and people should listen to it. But no one is going to listen to it because he's going about it in an unhinged way. And the reason he's going about it in an unhinged way is because he doesn't care about changing people's minds. That's not the primary goal. The primary goal is he is angry and is using this as an outlet for his anger. And that is actually sabotaging the higher goal here of changing one's mind or promoting an argument. There's a lot of people on the left that that could probably even look and use Destiny's argument, but they can't because it's unhinged and it's coming from an unhinged source in the way he's framing it. He's sabotaging everything. Yeah. He's sabotaging everything he's saying because he let his anger control him, because that's the goal. That's why him and you are just like the Palestinian protesters who keep saying from the river to the sea. Because if you like them actually gave a fuck about enacting the change in the world that you say you support, you'd go, hey, I'm going about this in a way that's completely self-sabotaging to my message, and it's going to make it so I don't accomplish my goal.
Okay, that is such a bizarre thing to say, to compare that, something that is so inflammatory, so obscene, that is, commenting on the death and either saying that
It's
it's
different
good or
levels.
saying
I'm
that
just saying
maybe
it's the same type of
yeah,
behavior,
no,
obviously. Come on.
it's really not. I mean, what you're talking about
It's
is
not
comparing
different
kind of
levels,
like
it's the same level.
no, yeah, no, it's completely different levels. So it's completely different. So what you're comparing is essentially like obnoxious behavior vis-a-vis Twitter ethics and Twitter I don't know etiquette versus like things that the very core of what they are just shock the conscious. I mean, I really what your critique amounts to is the manner in which I'm engaging as opposed to the things I'm actually saying. Nothing about what your critique is relates to like the underlying thing of it. It's just I didn't like that you retweeted it. I think that you have some like connection to these Reddit or whatever threads, and like why are you quoting all the time, and why are you
So
like
so I'm
posting
so I'm
my
supposed to
receipts?
believe. So I'm supposed to believe, and everyone listening is supposed to believe that Pisco is this innocent little flower who's like, listen, I'm just making these arguments. I have no idea what the reaction will be when I retweet it and it gets posted on the Destiny subreddit. I had no, just, it's all outside. I had no clue any of this was going to happen, that people were going to be totally fucking unhinged assholes, that people are going to just completely lie and misrepresent you. Oh, all right. That's what you're telling me? That's we're all supposed to believe that? Everyone listening is supposed to believe this?
So I had no idea that there was going to be a thread about you on the Destiny subreddit. I had no
Oh,
idea
of
about that.
course. Yes, of course. Right.
Do you think that I was trying to promote stuff in subreddits at
Obviously,
all?
give me a
Dude,
break
that
with
is
this.
such
Give me a
horseshit,
break with
dude.
this.
Are you
I think
serious?
I think it's hilarious that like so after the last conversation we had where I magnanimously tried to help your image with our chat, and Adam even said to you as you left, he even said like, listen, maybe you can kind of like help patch up this reputation, this lying reputation that for some reason the insane leftists and Destiny's audience have about us, or that we're somehow like Trump, soft on Trump or Trump simps or something, which is completely fucking detached from reality, which is completely detached from reality. And you're like, oh yeah, sure. And it's funny that when you get and compile this like this entire clip show of Adam talking about Trump, and it being a coup attempt and all this stuff, that only comes out not to like help the fight the lies that people have been posting about us in DGG, but in order to try to
Well,
attack Adam and call him a hypocrite on Twitter. That to me is fucking hilarious.
Sitch. It's a fair point to this extent. This is what I'll say. It is the case that the kind of thing where I would show a bunch of clips and receipts is like similar to how I would engage with almost any other political commentator that I'm talking about. It is true. I do that with Steven. I do that with President Sunday. I do that with literal senators and people. I did it with Dave Portnoy just recently. I've done it with Dave Rubin. So that kind of tactic is something that I do because I care about the issue. It is the case that I care about the
If
issue.
you had a disagreement with Destiny, you would go on an unhinged Twitter rant against him like this and just be like, "Oh, Destiny, you're such a fucking hypocrite. Here's a bunch of clips of you being a fucking hypocrite." Blah, 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 blah. Even though, by the way, Adam was not being a hypocrite, and your statement made no fucking sense. But that's besides the point.
I mean, we can get to that, but like you understand that most of my discussions with him are I'm accusing him of being a hypocrite or being a bad paid piece of shit or whatever. Did you understand that, or maybe you don't understand the nature of it? Yes, I go on there and say
that is not true. I've heard lots of conversations you have with Destiny. That's not true.
Come on.
Okay, well, listen, that might be. Listen, okay.
Reports.
That might just be the way in which that you interact with people. You're one of these people who just cannot interact with people on a normal social level. I don't know, maybe you're autistic. I don't know if you've ever been tested for Asperger's or something, but maybe that's just you. That's just your personality.
As we're discussing right now, you think I have autism? I'm going to give you what you want right now and say, in retrospect,
I wouldn't be surprised.
Given how you reacted and given what it's clear that this has been something that has upset both of you in a way that I'm really sorry about, and I don't want it to affect. I was very like sad that
I don't want your apology, Pisco. This is who you are. You are the scorpion on the frog back. This is what you do. You just pee all over yourself and over anyone near you. You cannot control yourself.
I am trying to make inroads right now and to come to an understanding of like what happened, right? So I'm trying to express to you that it is the case that when I talk about political commentators, when political commentators say something I do not agree with, this is the manner in which I relate to them. I look at their arguments, I quote them, and I say why they're stupid. And that's the same thing that a lot of people do. You do it as well. Now, we happen to have a social relationship, and I did not think about our previous commitments to make you more palatable in the eyes of an audience that you think has been primed against you. And for that, and for not thinking about that, I'm sorry that I didn't think about that. And I'm willing to, going forward, consider that more and be more diplomatic and thoughtful about the way that I interact with you guys. What I can't accept is that I was doing this either A, for money, B, for popularity, C, for any of that stuff, because that's just not the case. And it is the case that everything I'm doing is because I care incredibly about these issues, about this election. If anyone watches my content or anything I do, practically 80, 90% of it is about this democracy, the Constitution. I talk to nobodies where I bring this up. I spend hours, for no money, no remuneration whatsoever. Like what clout do I get? I'm nobody. I don't get any fucking clout. And it's because I care about the issues. You might not agree with that. You might think that I'm lying to you or lying to myself, but that is how I engage with people. And anyone who knows me or who's followed me can understand, and they can see it in real time and all the history and logs there. Look at all the things I do with Rob Noor. You know Rob Noor? Yeah,
Sure,
I know you
of
guys know
course,
Rob
we've
Noor.
debated Rob
You've
Noor,
had
yeah.
yes, exactly. Do you know the number of times where I've had engagements like this with Rob Noor, where we're both going after each other and discussing ideas and saying how each other are hypocrites? Okay, maybe it is some like latent level online political autism, but it's not a show of bad faith, and we get along famously at times. Recently, we've been a little on the up, but we just rekindled and we started talking a little bit more and discussing ideas. And so like it isn't this special vendetta against you guys, and I can understand why y'all who are more like kind of chill people and not as in that specific sphere might have taken it as an attack in a way that I didn't mean it to be. It was meant an attack about your ideas, but not as you as people. And it wasn't my intention to be like some cloud hungry, bad faith person. That is just how I
So
engage, and anyone who follows me can see that.
I do think you care deeply about the election. Obviously I
Yeah.
think you care about that, but that's the problem, is that you care so deeply about it that when you see Adam say something or me say something, it gets you the seeing red. You become emotional, and then that's what you're satisfying at that moment. You're lying to yourself. You're completely lying to yourself if you're saying, "Oh, I'm satisfying some sort of grander, logical, philosophical, political, ideological thing." You're not. You're just angry. You're just scared. You're upset. So you want to go, "Oh, fuck this guy, dunk. Let me get a bunch of likes. It feels good." And that's fine. If that's who you are, that's fine. I just want you to be honest about it. Okay.
Yeah,
Or if you're not going to be honest about it, it's fine.
yeah.
I'm just not, we're just not going to, I'm
So
going to
here,
view you through the lens of what you really are. Okay.
so this is what I'm telling you, right? Like I like debate. I like ideas. I like discussing what people think about political issues. That's something that I like to do. Now, I can ground that out and be like, because I want to see a good world. And you might say, well, do you really want to see a good world, or do you just enjoy the dopamine you get from being right about something or showing someone up? And, maybe it's impossible to see me from a third party perspective and say it's the true altruism versus the dopamine. I'm guessing that, I'm a human. And so to the extent that I'm building neural pathways or whatever, that it might have something to do with how I feel as a result of debate and discussion. I'm not going to deny that I get a thrill out of having these conversations. That's why I do it, because I like to do it. But I also do fundamentally care about these issues, and I do want people to see my thoughts, and I want people to
You
know
don't, you don't, you don't care
my
enough about these
arguments.
issues to behave in a way that would actually affect a positive change on the issue. That's
Yeah,
the issue.
that's your
That's
pride.
true.
You think that what I'm
That
doing
is
is ineffective
100% true.
because yeah, you think that what I'm doing is ineffective because there are better ways to do it. And the
You
better
know
way
it's
to do it would have
ineffective. You know it's
okay.
ineffective.
All right. I don't know that to be a fact.
Well, then you're
You're
dumb. I don't know.
saying
You're retarded. I don't know
you're
what to tell you at
saying
that
okay,
point.
okay. There are a ton of people on this
Yeah.
platform, and you're not even going to
Uh-huh.
deny it, who engage acrimoniously and gain humongous followings. Now, I don't think that anything I'm doing is acrimonious, but you pretending that people having biting criticism, sharp criticism, isn't a way to either get people to agree with your arguments. Think about like Christopher Hitchens and all these people who like will say pretty aggressively argumentative things. You're pretending that like it's
So now you're
inconceivable
changing your
that
position. If your argument is just,
wait.
listen, I want to make biting criticism of you or Adam or whomever in order to gain a larger following, that's a
No, but
completely different
no.
argument than you've been making this
It's
entire
no,
time.
no, 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 no. Stop. It's the goal isn't the audience of it. If that was the goal, I would be doing all sorts of different things. I wouldn't be spending time going after like and talking about stuff from randos. That the
Mm-hmm.
goal isn't the audience itself. It's to show you that it is the case that people are drawn to biting criticisms, criticism that
Ah.
are not just nice and open ended and are more like point, and you pretending that it's inconceivable that if I
Mhm.
wanted to convince people, I would be like more, I would just be like Mr. Rogers or something. I just don't know what planet you're living on. Part of the reason why a lot of the people that you admire, I mean, you admire a lot of these commentators that give like very sharp, forceful critiques. People like Jordan Peterson, right? I mean, he tells, I think you guys like him, or at least I think Adam, you do. And like, yeah, sometimes he'll go off the handle at people, and he'll give some sort of sharp critique. And I don't think that that's inconsistent with a goal of wanting to convince people and to have your ideas be spread. I think most people who have like thoughts in their head want people to buy into them and think that they're good and not bad. I don't think that there's
I think when you
anything
have
wrong with that.
a good relationship, or supposedly have a good relationship with
I agree
someone
with
over
this.
the internet,
Yeah.
that and this actually happened to Jordan Peterson with H3H3, where you turn around and after you have a good conversation with them, you attack them in an unhinged way as opposed to just having another conversation with them. I know. I think that's weaselly. I think that's slimy. That's very
That point I
obviously
will concede to
performative.
you.
Everyone knows it's
Wait.
performative. But some people don't agree. Some people,
Sitch.
you look at this differently than the way I do. Rob Noor looks at it differently. Some people look at this as like it's all wrestling, it's all kayfabe. Everyone go out there and just do whatever they want in public, and then behind the scenes y'all shake
Sitch,
hands. And that's not me. That's fine
but
if
you
that's
won't
how you are. That's not me.
Sitch, you won't accept my apology on that point, right? Because you don't,
Why
you say
wait?
you don't
Why
want
would I
an
accept your
apology.
apology when this is the third time that this exact situation has already happened?
First of all, I disagree that the first two instances were like involving something of this nature. Number one.
Wait, it was literally the same thing. We had a
But
conversation. No. The first time we ever interacted, okay,
yeah,
was we were criticizing your conversation with Lauren
with
Southern, where you were
Lauren
saying some
Southern, that's right.
stupid shit, and then you came on and you were totally chill. And you know what I said in that conversation? It's like, wow, I'm really impressed. We were making fun of you, blah 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 blah. You handle yourself really well. Okay, I walked away from that conversation with very positive, opinion of you, and then
Yeah.
I tweet something, which is fucking true. I even went back and found the clip where AOC admits that the reason that she got into the January 6th fucking situation that she did, where she was, by the way, AOC was disgustingly trying to posit herself as a victim of January 6th when actual people were harmed and killed in that incident. Okay. She disgustingly inserted herself in the conversation when she was never in any danger. And the only reason that she was in her headcanon danger was because she made her own decision that she didn't trust security. And she didn't trust being around the other House representatives to go to the safe room location that she was supposed to go to because she thought that they were all fucking QAnon people that were going to sell her out to the mob, which is retarded. Okay. And when I tweeted that out, you had a fucking unhinged attack on me. That was like
I don't agree
so
that it was
weird.
unhinged, but listen,
You were like, oh my
I
God,
don't
Sitch,
Yeah, hold on. I'm trying to get it back. Something went wrong.
oh my God.
Go ahead.
you were in the middle of
Anyways,
like a really good rhythm too.
I know.
Yeah.
Now my performative rant is ruined. Jesus Christ.
Sorry about that, bro.
We're back. Go
You
ahead.
don't think I?
Okay.
You don't think I have autism? Oh, sorry.
And then
Resume.
I don't know where they stopped hearing, but
You said
and
you said
no. So yeah, you go on
yeah.
Destiny's, you run to him, and then I have you on, and excuse me, I'm getting over COVID, and then
Oh, I'm sorry about that.
it's and then I have you on, and I'm totally bury the hatchet with you, and then you go do this shit. It's the third time, Pisco. This is who you are. That's why I'm saying you can apologize all you want. I don't care. It doesn't matter. Because if I accept your apology a couple of months later, you're just going to do it again. Because this is just who you are.
So just to be a trillion% clear, I do not agree with your chronology of what occurred. A, that the quote unquote running to destiny, that was a decision taken in bad faith to malign you. I saw your opinion. It wasn't an attempt to like sandbag you or to make any kind of bad opinion
Uh-huh.
of you. It was just
Hmm.
my and I can even say I can understand your frustration at that, seeing as you thought it was straw man or whatever. I can understand your frustration, just like I was frustrated when you initially covered me and you were saying I was a fucking idiot and I was just doing a struggle session, all that stuff. Remember that? I didn't take it personally because these are your opinions, and I'm happy that you gave me the opportunity to come on. I thought that was very gracious of you. And there has been, I think,
Wait, you don't get points for not getting, quote, mad at me for insulting you after you go and insult me to someone else's audience. I don't know what the fuck.
hang
What
on a
was
second.
that? That's ridiculous.
Let's just be clear. You guys talk all kinds of shit about me, and I will say in maybe after what occurred, that's a change
I do
circumstance
not.
from
Wait,
before.
hold on.
But
I
yeah,
okay. After our first conversation, before your AOC tweet, I did not talk shit about you. And in fact, I had a
I'll accept
positive
that.
opinion about you. And then
I'll
after
accept that.
that, I didn't talk shit about you either
Okay,
until you went on
I'll accept
Destiny's
that.
stream to badmouth me. So that's not true.
I'll accept that. Listen. I am understanding now that it really isn't productive with y'all to engage in my normal way that I engage with political commentators with whom I disagree. Um, to do that with you guys, because I think that there's a point that when you have a kind of more social ongoing relationship, maybe a better way to do it would to be to engage in the discussion, or if I'm going to tweet, to not have it be as I normally do. But I do want to tell you that like my intent is not to put you guys down. My intent is always to present my viewpoints on what I feel are ridiculous ideas. I don't call you guys racist. I don't, I think the most I said was, this is why people think that you're captured by MAGA, but
Mm-hmm.
it's not, it
Oh, of
is not
course.
my
Right.
position. It is not my position that you guys
Uh-huh.
are secret MAGA people. That's not my position. It's never been. The person who said that in the conversation we had
They're
previously
just
was
playing it to an
IRI.
audience that's their complete straw man of us, and you're completely
Listen,
innocent and didn't know that that's the
but
straw
hang
man
on.
position that they've
The
all
proof is
conjuncted
in
with. Yeah.
the proof is in the pudding. I provided clips of you guys critiquing Trump.
Yeah, and have
You
you
think I
seen the
wasn't aware
reply?
of
Have you
that?
seen the replies that are like retarded? They're like, "Oh, this is just proof that they're grifters, right? They're not even. They don't even understand any. They didn't even understand the clips that you put out. They don't even make sense to them."
Okay, out of abundance of clarity, it is not my position that you guys are grifters. If you guys were grifters, I would foresee you guys doing other things, and that there are moments I think where you are
Yeah, I'm
potentially
glad you don't
jeopardizing
think
revenue
that. That's
streams.
fine, but the
I'll tweet that
audience
out
that
for
you're
everybody.
performing for does think that.
Okay, I am to that extent. I understand where you're coming from, and you may not believe, you might think it's the boy who cried wolf or that this happened too many times, you can't trust me, whatever. I'm willing to bury the hatchet and say, hey, this as between us should have been done interpersonally or should have been done in a better way. And the long quote tweet, it didn't take a bunch, it was like 2 videos. It didn't take a bunch of time to get together, but I did do it. I can understand why in response to that, someone might feel, hey, this isn't fair. This isn't fair game. I don't agree that it's, fundamentally that it's unfair to direct you to your words, but given the manner and given our prior relationship, I understand it. And I don't fault you for that. I don't fault you for being like, yeah, this is icky. I don't want to fucking touch it. So that's where I'm trying to give an olive branch and say, hey, I understand where you're coming from. You can choose to, once bitten, twice shy kind of thing and be like, oh, well, fuck this guy. But I will understand on a forward going basis that to the extent that I have any big critiques of y'all, it is more productive to have it in a conversation because you're right. You do have these long conversations and you do get into the nitty gritty. And that's one of the reasons why I like both of you. I like your show. I like it when you go through that, like fucking what, the Canadian law about, what was it? Misgendering is a crime or something, because you learn a lot by actually reading the primary source, and that's what you guys do. And so um, that's my apology. You can choose to accept it or not, or say that it's bullshit or you don't care about it. That's what I'm willing to say. And yeah, but I can't tell you that I was sort of incentivized by a bad motive, because that wasn't the case. My incentive was to engage with you politically as I do with any other person, and that includes showing the arguments and giving my feedback and my response and letting the most amount of people see it so that people can agree with it or not. that's what was motivating me. And you can say it's not, and I'm aligned to myself. But as I sit here, that is an expression of my true intent as the subject of the person making these arguments.
It's
I
funny
love
because
you
like
guys, and this doesn't need to be a
before
hang up. And I'm sorry, and I'll write.
before your love is not returned. Before
Okay.
you had this interaction, I was literally about to message you because, I heard your conversation with Destiny about the
Yeah.
immunity thing, and I don't really know where I stand on that because I've heard a lot of conflicting things. And I was like, I would like to set up a conversation between, two or three lawyers on each side to debate it. And I know Pisco's very horny to debate that. And it was funny because I was like, if I ask Pisco this, I'm going to have to message him and tell him that he's going to have to be chill about it because he
Yeah.
gets so unhinged about it that he's going to immediately turn everyone off to his side. Okay. So, and it's funny because then I listened to your conversation with Hutch and I forget whoever else was on the stream, pondering
Yeah.
on that stream, and even they were saying like, Pisco, this is what you do. You go unhinged on people on the internet. Okay. So obviously this is a personal failing of yours that you need to work
It
on.
might
I
be.
mean, you don't need to. You don't need to do
No,
anything. But
listen,
if
listen.
I was you,
I
I would work on if I want to cultivate positive relationships with people going forward in the future.
Hey, I I appreciate that feedback, and that's one of the reasons why I regret doing what I did with Adam, because I think that it jeopardized what could have been a very nice conversation about the immunity thing, which I would love to do with you guys because I think that there's strong. I think you guys called me a stochastic terrorist for promoting that argument, but I think it's a good argument and one that I would like to hear and I would want to share with your audience. And so that's I am sorry that it went to this level. I can promise you that I wasn't motivated by malice, even though it seems like it. I would attribute it to debate bro energy and like this kind of sphere that I'm in and the kind of usual normal course of how I operate. But I didn't intend, and even if you see me on other streams, I often say like I like these guys because I do, and it's the truth. And so if you care about it, I am very sorry about this entire situation. And I'm happy to wipe the slate clean or do it. I'm happy to make a post and say these guys aren't crumbers or whatever. That's all, fine. And I just want to make sure that you're not like sort of out of sorts about where we stand because regardless of what's happened, I like you guys a lot and think that there's a valuable conversation to be had between you and other people in my sphere.
Okay. Would you want to add anything, Adam?
Yeah, I'll probably just leave it there.
Okay.
This motherfucker, Adam. Wait. Can I just say, Adam?
Yeah, what's
I
up?
I think you're fucking funny. I'd love to discuss the Trump thing more with you at some point. Maybe not today. I don't know what you guys have for time. I'd love to discuss other more substantive
Look,
things with you. But yeah,
substantively, I just don't think you're capable of it. To be honest with you, Pisco. Look, you straw man reflexively. Like
okay.
you don't want to steel man anybody's argument because you're worried if you put a good argument in front of your audience, they're going to start going with that argument.
I don't think that's the case, but
No,
I
I
think I
think
can
that
steel
is the
man your
case.
argument. I think I
I
can steel man
look,
your argument
no,
easily.
let's just leave it on kumbaya.
Okay.
Well,
Are you guys like good? Like what are you feeling?
I feel fine.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm great.
Yeah.
This was good. Sorry, the audio cut out a little bit. My Zoom just died on me like in the middle of it, so I missed a lot of what
Oh,
you guys
sorry
were
about that.
saying. Yeah, and
Wow.
then I had to
Terrible.
restart, and I think we barely missed anything you guys were saying. But once I finally heard you, I was like,
Okay.
"Oh my god!"
Word.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, but
Well,
look,
So it.
there you
Go
go.
ahead. Sorry.
well, I can cut out that little bit of silence. So,
Anyway,
No
well,
worries.
maybe I won't because the
good luck
chat will like be upset
being
about it.
a Destiny orbiter now. I'm very curious to see what his career trajectory goes from what he's doing right now. So we'll see.
Wait. So you guys don't want to have any conversations about things that are substantive? You just wanted to have a conversation about our conversation?
Yeah, I mean basically today, yeah.
Do you think that that's like what do you
Yeah.
think about that entire situation?
About what situation?
Yeah, I mean like it seems as though there's an effort on my end to really kind of squash what's going on and I don't know, I sense like a lot of hurt feelings and kind of this like underlying resentment. Is that fair?
Who has hurt feelings? What are you talking about?
That's what I'm getting from. That's what I'm sort of
It's not hurt
sensing from
feelings.
both of
It
you.
is a.
Okay.
It
From
is now that
us?
I
Hurt
know.
feelings?
Yeah,
What are you
yeah.
talking
No,
about?
it is now. It's why. Why should I? It's not a question of hurt feelings. Why should I expend the energy to be nice to
Yes.
someone who's not going to
Well,
reciprocate it? You are
Yes,
the
totally.
scorpion.
well,
I am the frog. I'm not going to carry you across the river anymore. I get it. That's all I'm saying.
why did you
Why
expend
why have
energy
an
to have
argument
this
with someone who's
conversation?
incapable of
Because
having an
it's because
argument in
I
good
think it's
faith?
funny and I think it makes good content for the audience. It is all
Wait, so
performative. I think it's hilarious.
I don't think that you truly believe that I'm incapable of making substantive arguments.
Talking to me or Adam?
Look, I don't want a 2v1, so
No, it's fine. I don't care.
my argument is, look, I think you're so set on winning, Pisco, that it's impossible for you to have any humility in an argument. And that's just a bad way to be. Like, you are literally incapable of understanding anyone's argument. So look, and
You think I'm
it
incapable of
is,
understanding arguments?
yes, totally. And I just look, there's no hard feelings, but I mean, it's really kind of pointless, and it's completely against the basic brand of our show. Like, Sitch and I go at each other all the time, but oh, that sounds horrible. Sitch and I argue with each other all of the
Uh-huh.
time because we are looking for the truth, the substance. You are not. You are looking for what is the argument that is going to help Democrats win. That's just
I
not,
don't.
like, who wants to have that argument? It's fucking boring. Okay.
I mean, I don't. I don't see how you can say that. So you're saying that everything I say is for the benefit of the Democrats, right?
Yes, you're a partisan hack.
Okay.
Look, I don't like
Okay.
arguing with partisan hacks. It's pointless.
You don't think that like there have been key moments in our conversations where I have critiqued the president of the United States. I've said he's not doing the right thing. I've said the Democrats are stupid for doing this. I'm calling for Biden to withdraw. I agree with you on that. Like, so where do you cite like the moment or the best piece of evidence that I'm actually
Your mouth is
incapable of
moving.
Okay.
That is the best piece of evidence that you're arguing in favor of the Democrats.
Is it fair to say that you like have a hatred for me and what I represent?
No, I don't. Look, Pisco, I don't hate you at all. Look, I didn't block you because I hated you. I blocked you because, like, it's just boring. It's so obvious what you're doing.
Why do you think that like I am able to maintain like very good argumentative, like, arguments with a ton of different people and to communicate with them in effective ways and have back and forth relationships, and it's such a struggle for us?
Because some people, as I said, they just view the online sphere as wrestling, and they just expect there to be this sort of kayfabe level of interaction, and that's fine. People want to do that. That's fine. I don't partake in that behavior. That's not me. I expect a level of at least professional courtesy for people that are, that are in good standing with each other.
You understand that like other people in this space,
Yeah, they
people
don't do
like
that.
pondering, people like Hutch, people maybe not Hutch, but definitely pondering, people like Steven, like Destiny, they go hard on you guys, way harder than I do.
First of all, I don't know if
They
Hutch
call you
has.
MAGA MAGA people, fucking
Well,
lying
then fuck
centrists.
them.
I don't do
Then
that.
fuck them. I don't know. What do you mean? What do you mean? Wait. You're right. Yeah, I don't.
They're way
I
more
don't like.
dishonest than you.
I don't like when people do that either. I don't know what you want from me.
Yeah.
What's the
No,
problem?
but like comparatively speaking, like you maintain relationships and conversations with people who are 100% like Republican hacks or a MAGA hack.
Because I
You talk
haven't
to
gone
those
out of
people.
my way with any of those people to try to extend some kind of bridge. Okay. I haven't
All
done
right,
any of that with
well,
those people. I understand those people are partisan hacks who just go, oh, they just view me in their mind as like the enemy, right? That's fine. Okay.
uh-huh.
That's why I said you're the scorpion, right? I get it.
So
I
this
tried to bury a
conversation we're
hatchet with
having right
you and
now,
you just, threw it back in my face. It's fine. This is who you are.
well, to be fair, I went after Adam, not you. Is that fair?
Yeah. Adam's my boy.
I see. Yeah, he's your boy. I don't see. So
Adam's my
like,
boy. Okay. I'm
and
protective of Adam. He's my boy.
I get that he's your boy, and I respect that you guys have a strong relationship, and you come at
Right.
one
And
of
then
you,
when I
you come
said,
at
why are
both.
you behaving like a twat? Then you started doing the performance dance on me. All right. You'd see
See, I
me, you'd
don't-
see me quote tweeting to my audience going, look at Pisco, look at this twat dance, which what I'm doing
so
right now. This
it's the
is that's you
retweets.
asked why am I doing it? This is what it would have been like the whole time if I was like just like, oh, retweeting, oh, look at this fucking asshole. He's a fucking retard. Look at this asshole. Okay. Oh God.
Well, you realize, I never said those words. I never said retard, never said asshole.
Uh-huh.
I was just arguing with you.
Of
The
course.
actual argument.
Right.
I don't know. I mean, you think this is an overreaction how you're acting? It's a little bit like I understand where you're coming from, but don't you think this is a bit intense? I mean,
I
you
think
accused me of
that
struggle
you
session with
should
Lauren Southern.
this is what I think. I think you
Yeah.
should frame it as an overreaction
Oh,
because
yeah,
that's
that'd be
a
good.
that's a good framing for you to do the internet.
I mean, it's
oh,
dishonest, but it is
I'm
good
cynical.
framing.
I don't care. I'm
not
a
gonna publicly
cynical. I
comment
just
on it.
care
Wait,
about
wait.
the facts. I never get
I'm not
emotional.
gonna
By the
publicly.
way,
I'm not
let
gonna
me
publicly
fly off the
comment.
handle and and start foaming at the mouth when I'm super emotional on Twitter as I react to someone. Okay, because they said something I slightly disagree with. I think you should frame it that way. That would be an effective strategy. Yeah.
And again, you're not able to distinguish how you engage with other people, except to say that we had a sort of a bridge building moment.
Who have I ever engaged
Give
with
me a
the
break,
way that you have
Sitch.
engaged with me? Name a single
Sitch.
fucking person.
Every single SJW you laugh on your stream, forget it
Yes.
whether it's on Twitter or stream. You think that's the distinction that matters? You go hard on people all the time. And for you to sit here and pretend that what I did like transgress some boundary other than what I've already accepted is like our social relationship and the bridge that you made, which I think that's a fine point, fair point, is absurd. You guys will absolutely tear people to shreds on their hypocrisy, and there's nothing wrong with
I'm
that.
so glad Adam said like all you do is you can't you just like twist everything to win because what you just said, the sentence you just said, if someone were to actually break it down and analyze it, is insane. Because what you literally just said was, I don't understand. You're completely hypocritical, Sitch, because you do this thing, except that it's completely different, and I've already agreed with you about how it's different and agree with you completely. But if I remove the entire soul of your argument where I agree with you, then yes, you're hypocritical. That's a fucking ludicrous statement, Pisco.
Sitch. What I've granted is between people approaching friendly relations, right? Like if I have
that's the whole point. That's the whole point, Pisco.
No, but you're acting.
You're mean to people that you've never interacted with that are socialist on the internet. And I'm like, you're correct. I am. Yes.
Okay, so what I'm gathering is that
we've had leftists come on the stream and we've had good conversations, and I'm not a fucking dick to them afterwards. I don't go fucking around, bad mouthing them like a crazy asshole. If I have a disagreement with them, I say, oh, it's how much you can talk about them.
Bad mouthing. I'm commenting on an opinion that Adam puts out there for public consumption. He tweets his opinion about something, and you're like crying that someone will comment on it.
That's fine. Yeah. I know. Look, the framing is taking shape. It's perfect for you. Okay.
What framing?
The framing.
I'm giving you my view.
I love it.
Do you think that I'm structuring this conversation to appeal to a particular person? If I did that, why would I apologize to you for that aspect that you brought up?
No, you're doing it right now. You've tried the apology tact, and you're like, okay, the apology tact isn't working, so now I have to go on the offense.
Hang on a second.
I understand it.
I've apologized for breaking the mutual the bridge building mending thing that we had, and I think I can understand that. And I'm sorry that it has undermined your view of our conversations moving forward. That is something that I deeply think that that's sad. I'm not walking away from that, and I actually signaled, I think, to Adam, or I don't know if you were on it, that that's what I was planning to do at the start of this conversation. It's not a tactic that I'm deploying for purposes of anything. You can decide that fuck this guy, I don't want to have a conversation with him ever again. That to me is totally acceptable for you to do. What I'm doing here is giving you my authentic opinion and talking to you as a normal person. I'm not going to quote tweet this conversation and have a big distillation or review of what happened. I'm just literally talking to you as a human being.
Pisco, your voice is trembling. We can tell you're on the verge of crying. Okay. Quit trying to make it seem like we're upset. Yeah.
Well, I think that this is a little bit an overreaction, if I'm being 100% real with you.
What? I mean, I don't understand how it's an overreaction. I mean,
so it's an overreaction because most people in this kind of situation where someone's been a little bit mean on Twitter would not take it as personally, and in the presence of what is absolutely an authentic attempt to mend the bridge, would just be like, well, fuck you, you're the Scorpion anyway, and like whatever. I'm not gonna say if I accept your apology or whatever. I'm not gonna try to mend the bridge. That I think is a little bit like it's a little weird, and it shows that there's a deep cut here, and it's more than just like I find you distasteful. It's like you seriously are offended, and I
Look,
don't know what I can do to make that feel better.
It's hard because I'm saying that just from a pragmatic point of view, that you are incapable of having an honest discussion with somebody, that you reflexively are dishonest. And that's something that I don't think you'll ever be able to get past.
Name one lie I've told. Name one lie I've told.
You completely have reframed like my saying that I would vote for Trump over Biden as, you basically put all these clips together to say that I said all these horrible things about Trump, which I have, obviously.
Framing as hypocritical was like completely nonsensical.
Yeah, because you left out the part about how Biden is in cognitive decline now, which is the argument that everybody's making, like in the frickin' New York Times. So leaving out half of the argument is kind of dishonest.
The entire conversation is about the trade-off between Biden and Trump. In all of our interactions on Twitter, my main criticism was your unwillingness, and maybe it's unwillingness because you think that the whole conversation is poisoned. That's fine. That's your opinion. But to say that I'm omitting the either
you're hand waving it away. This is, look, we had this conversation with Hutch,
that's a substantive critique. That's a substantive point that you're saying you're hand waving away. That's you saying that like you're not properly weighing it. That's substantive. What I'm asking is not really substantive. It's like, what do you think I lied about? That's not a substantive issue. You can think I'm crazy about Biden's cognitive decline. You can think that there, the foreign problems.
How many clips did you include in your tweet thread? Look, and I didn't look at all your clips. I just, I was like, I know what's going on here. Look, no, how many? Okay, five. All me shit talking Trump, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
How many clips did you include of me talking about Biden's cognitive decline?
I didn't include any of the clips.
Oh, you did? Oh my goodness.
But
you completely left that part of the argument out. How is that not a straw man?
Come on, Adam. Your point was, it's a given that you think that Biden is suffering from cognitive decline. You're admitting to it in the quote thread that I'm responding to. The entire conversation is premised on you thinking that Biden is suffering from major mental decline. Why would I put some clips and evidence of something that you're conceding? Whereas you just acknowledged that in the context of that clip, you were unwilling to answer the question of whether it was a coup or an insurrection. That's the truth. And that's why I had, video clips for one and not the other. That's the most obvious thing. That's not a lie.
No, you're posting him bad-mouthing Trump and saying you're being a hypocrite without posting Adam's reasoning or him talking about why he would vote for Trump after saying that Trump did all this bad stuff.
That's what I was trying to elicit. I do not know the rationale. And you had a recent stream about it, which I've watched.
Look, now you're completely making my argument because my rationale is perfectly clear. And because you don't know my rationale proves that you are incapable of seeing it. Like you are reflexively dishonest. Like 90% of partisans, you are reflexively dishonest. You just cannot help yourself. You're so terrified that somebody might vote in a way that's different than you, or think in a way that's different than you, that you have to straw man everything around you.
Okay, you think I'm terrified of Trump voters or people who vote for Trump or their arguments?
Yes.
Yes, you're terrified. I
think you're terrified Trump is going to be president for another 4 years.
First of all, I'm absolutely frightened of the prospect of Trump being the president, but that doesn't mean that I'm
clouding your mind. It's clouding your judgment.
That doesn't mean that I'm scared of the arguments or scared of hearing the case for Trump. In fact, it's the direct opposite. It's what I was asking for, Adam. I was asking for you on the Twitter thread for you to provide that rationale. Where one of the tweets, and I know you know this, was please provide an honest weighing of what's going on here. Why are you valuing Biden's decline versus Trump's insurrection.
If
Why do you weigh one or the other? That's what I was asking for. So do you pretend that I'm like,
why would you even argue with someone who's incapable of understanding your argument? And if or they are capable of understanding your argument, but they're just so dishonest that they're going to reframe that argument in the most negative light. Like, why would you even engage with that? What is the purpose of engaging with that?
I reject the premise that you've pointed to any specific act of deception that I've engaged in our interactions, either there or anywhere else. When have I acted in deception against you? That's what, I mean, it makes no sense.
The whole tweet thread is completely deceptive. So.
It's okay. What about that is a lie? These are statements you made. Those are your words.
Yes. And then facts came to light that made me reconsider my calculus. And you left
Adam,
all of that out.
Fine.
Adam, you changing your mind based on information makes you a
Adam.
Oh, look, I know how they rewarded you for doing that, Sitch, on the fly. Like, I was thinking that the whole time I'm having this interaction with him. I'm like, oh, I've seen this. I've seen this before. I've seen this tactic before. This dishonest tactic.
Adam, do you understand that my entire critique, my entire point of what I was doing was to get you to give an explanation? Not
so that you could dishonestly frame it to your audience. Yes, I understand that. And I understand that you're very upset that I didn't do it. That I would like.
Sorry.
That I showed some restraint, something that you are incapable of doing.
It's not the case, therefore, that I was like omitting this. Like entire.
Now you're lying again. Look at this. He's lying again, Sitch. He's doing it again. He's doing it. He's doing the lie.
Wait, Adam, please identify the lie I just told.
Continue. Go ahead. Continue lying.
Can you or can you not identify the lie I just told? You just said you accused me of lying. You can identify it. What is it?
Well, you're saying that you're honestly putting forth my argument, that you're just trying you're just trying to understand my perspective. You're completely coming to this in good faith. You just want to like study my perspective like a scientist.
Wait, Adam.
That is the lie. You're trying to elicit a response from me that you can mischaracterize to a large audience in a dishonest way. That's what you're trying to do. That's the lie.
What evidence have you provided of me mischaracterizing your opinion?
The tweet thread doesn't include the counter argument. That's the evidence.
I'm trying to elicit the counter argument. You understand that? So how can it include something that I don't know?
I made the counter argument on.
You understand the logic problem? Then why didn't you make it to me? I didn't see it. Where's the counter argument? I'm trying to elicit that thing.
I'm gonna tell you one more time why I didn't do it. Because I believe that you are incapable of having a discussion without being dishonest. That's why I didn't do it. Okay. I did respond to other people. I responded to Not So Erudite. She never responded to me. I responded to Hutch. Hutch responded to me. We had Hutch on. I didn't respond to you because I think you're dishonest. Okay. And look,
Adam, so
I think you are reflexively dishonest. I think you probably don't even know you're being dishonest. Okay. That's the work of the ideology in your brain. Okay.
You understand you understand dishonesty is intentional, like untruthing or misleading. Well, it's defined by intentionality.
Yes, I do understand that. On the show, we often call that systemic dishonesty. Okay. So I think you are systemically dishonest.
Okay, I mean,
this is the reason why I don't hate you. I think it is exactly like the scorpion thing. It's like, yeah, you're a scorpion. Okay, you sting things. That's what you do.
You're saying the right example you cited, and I tell me if you're not following, if you don't understand. The example that you cited of my dishonesty was I did not include in my big thread the counter arguments that you had elsewhere provided. You agree that that's the first example you just gave of my dishonesty, right?
Yes.
Okay. Will you accept that I had no awareness of those counter arguments?
Yes, I do accept that. I think you're systemically dishonest. I think you can't help yourself. Yeah.
How can you accuse me of being dishonest by not including something where I was genuinely trying to
if you're spreading misinformation, even though you think it's true, you're still spreading misinformation.
So you accept that I genuinely
do you agree with that, right?
Arguments.
Look, do you agree that people do spread dishonest statements about people on the internet all the time that they think are true and are not technically being dishonest, but they're lying? The net
accept
effect is
that.
that they're spreading misinformation about people that are lies.
I accept that, but I don't think that
Okay.
therefore that those instances are impeachments of character unless you can show that they're being intentionally dishonest.
Well, look,
If
if you've
someone
had a
in good faith is trying to understand why you're coming to this conclusion, I mean that's what I was trying to do. I wasn't trying to like
well,
um
this part I think is like,
intentionally omit the argument that I was purporting to try to get. That I ended the entire thread by saying you do deserve your audience deserves an explanation. And if it's the case that you had already given an
my audience
explanation,
has an explanation.
yeah. So if that's the case, then I wasn't aware of that. That's the whole thing. Like, but then it's not dishonesty. It's me saying, hey, what's the explanation? What gives? It's not me
It's
intentionally omitting
systemic
something.
dishonesty. Okay.
Okay,
Look,
but then it's not
I've
me
already given
intentionally
you, I've already given
lying
you the
about
fact that
anything.
it's, look, you're not intentionally lying. You're just
Okay.
misguided.
All right, then like what
Hold on, which is worse? Which are you more likely to engage with? A person who's
yeah.
being maliciously dishonest, or someone who is completely dishonest but just doesn't know it? They're just spreading misinformation constantly. Like, which is worse?
I am more apt to and have in fact engaged more with the unintentional people who are misinformed. They are dozens of them in my server who like don't know shit, and people who are big MAGA people. I don't live in bubbles. I absolutely engage with MAGA all the time. I listen to MAGA podcasts. I listen to conservative shows. I watch Fox News. And so it's not the case that I isolate myself. And yes, I do engage with tons of conservatives on these issues. So yeah, I
Look,
engage with
I
people who I
don't.
believe to be honest actors who are spreading
You're
misinformation all the
look,
time.
this is part of that reflexive dishonesty, because you're
What?
implying, you are implying that we have put ourselves in some kind of bubble. No, we engage
No,
with
no,
people
no,
all
no,
the time, but
no.
we engage
I'm
with
not saying
people
you.
who actually are willing to admit that they might
Uh,
be wrong, to accept that they might.
that's a miscommunication from me, or I don't know what happened there. But I am not accusing
No,
you of
this
being a
is you
bubble.
being reflexively dishonest again. That's
No,
what's
no, I'm
happening
not
here.
accusing. No, I am not accusing you of being in the bubble. That's the opposite of what I would accuse you of. I am not saying that you are in a bubble. I'm saying I'm not in a bubble. That's what I'm saying. That
Okay.
engage. I engage substantive like
I
a
see.
ton
It's a
with
giant difference. I look.
what I am. So right there, you took what I said as like an attack on you, that you're isolated, that you're in a bubble. That is the opposite of what I was trying to say. I was trying to defend myself and say, hey, listen,
So you
I
recognize that we aren't in a bubble. We just don't want to talk to you.
I recognize that you're not in a bubble and that you just don't want to talk to me. Correct.
Okay,
But
good.
I've never accused you of being in a bubble. That's just not something that I've said. I don't know what
I
we're on. Like,
stand
this is
corrected.
crazy. Yeah, I mean, I think that you guys have interesting conversation with people on all parts of the spectrum. I've not hidden that I think that your show is fun. It's you get interesting voices on here and people that are maligned elsewhere that I think sometimes unfairly so. And so I'm not here to judge your show or say that you guys are MAGA supporters. There was a discrete issue, which is Trump versus Biden, and the way I engage, I can understand why you guys thought that that was like inappropriate given our prior relationship. I can tell you, and I'm promising you that I did not mean to be dishonest in any way that I was approaching it or being malicious with you or anything like that. I was engaging the way I normally do with political commentators and people who put out their opinions. And I wasn't trying to omit intentionally parts of your argument so I have to misrepresent you. If I missed where you kind of made that calculus, that's on me. But it wasn't my intention to misrepresent you. And I'm happy to, you have reasons for why you prefer Trump. They relate to like what you think foreign adversaries will do. They relate to the black box and the nature of democracy and what it is to vote for someone when you don't know who's behind the scenes. These are all legitimate concerns that are not just felt by you, they're felt by a huge amount of the population of the country. And so it isn't the case that I'm trying to malign you as someone who's so out there or someone whose arguments don't deserve to be discussed. That's the whole purpose was not for me to close the argument, but for me to continue it. And I understand that how I responded was not in any way appealing to you. And that's something that I will take from this exchange, but it's not an indication that I'm trying to like misrepresent you at all. I promise you that.
Okay, well, I
Well,
think we're just going in circles at this
yeah,
point. So
totally.
Yeah, I mean that's
thanks for
cool.
coming
But
on, Pisco.
are you guys good? Are you good?
Yeah,
I'm great.
I thought it was hilarious.
You thought it was hilarious. Can you say
Yes.
more about that just before I leave?
I thought it was a
What
funny
about it was
conversation.
funny?
The chat.
How was it funny?
The chat thought it was very funny.
Like your chat.
Yeah, my chat, yeah. Yes.
So what you're saying is, so this conversation
It was entirely performative,
I,
yes.
that you've invited me on to have right
Yes.
now,
Yes.
the way that you're getting your kicks, and a way that was not at all what I was doing,
Yeah.
was to specifically to ridicule.
Maybe not specifically, maybe
I
incidentally.
mean, that is what you're saying, that you're specifically trying to ridicule. That's where you're getting your funny kicks from.
If
What do
you
you think
want
about
to
that?
interpret it that way, you can feel free to interpret it that way.
Do you think that is a kind thing to do?
No.
Oh my God.
I mean, like, what are you to make of anything? I mean, you just accused Destiny of hypocrisy when it comes to associating with people and critiquing them
I said
for
no, no,
saying
no,
against
no. Wait,
things,
wait, wait, wait.
and right now you are
Are
displaying the very
maybe you're
hypocrisy.
not as smart as I thought you were. My
Yeah,
argument
yeah,
with
go for
Destiny
it.
was that he was making a good position, but he was ruining the argument
Undermining
to
it by
the
his hypocrisy.
undermining it by the way he was
Yes,
presenting
and
it. Yeah.
as
Yeah.
you are, right? Because what
Yes.
you're trying to accuse me of is performative. I'm just doing this for
I don't
clout and
think
engagement,
I don't for a
and
second
that's
think that
exactly what
I'm
you're
going to
admitting you're
change your
doing.
mind or that you're going to change your behavior on any of this.
So that's what I'm saying. That you
Yeah, I
brought
don't
me
think you're going to
on.
change your mind or your
You
behavior. Yeah.
The thing that's
yeah,
driving
so,
this is your fear, your primal fear that Trump will be president for 4 years. So
you say what's
none of this
driving
is
this? What do you mean what's driving this?
that fear is not going to go away because I mean, we're in the middle of an election cycle. So the
When you say
source of your
what's driving
behavior is not
this,
going to go away.
when you say what's driving this, what do
Do
you
you
mean
disagree,
this?
Sitch? I mean, it seems
No, I
obvious
agree.
to me. Yeah. Okay.
That the source of what do you mean by this?
The source of your
Everything.
systemic dishonesty.
Yes.
You haven't identified a single thing that I did was dishonest at all.
I said
Okay.
systemically dishonest. Do you even understand what that means?
Yeah, so what you pointed
Don't worry
to
about it.
is, well, the only thing you pointed to is an omission of one of your arguments that I wasn't aware of.
Okay. Anyways.
Real quick, Pisco, you understand what I mean by
Yeah.
systemic dishonesty, right? Like there are
Yeah,
people who are
it's like systemic
who are-
racism.
Yeah, exactly. They're
Yeah.
going around and they're saying Sitch and Adam are a bunch of MAGA supporters. They're Trump lovers. They're secret Republicans. All of those things.
And you think
right?
you think I'm doing that?
No,
Or helping that?
look, I think the people who are saying that believe it. I think they think it's true. I think they think
Do
they're
you think
spreading
I'm
honesty
doing that,
in the
Adam?
world, but it's not true. It's false. It's fake.
But am I spreading any of those ideas about you being a MAGA supporter? Is that what I'm doing?
I have no idea.
I'm not.
Okay, well, good. Thanks, bro.
So how am I engaged in systemic dishonesty?
No, he's just doing it incidentally. Just
Wait,
completely contributing to the false narrative completely by innocent
Sorry,
because he's just
sorry,
sorry
to bring you to the definition, Sitch.
Yeah.
The definition of this systemic dishonesty was it's incidental, it's not intentional. And so my question is, how am I engaging in the systemic portion of misinformation where I'm spreading, honestly, the idea that you're a Trump supporter, which of course I don't do.
I just said you're just innocently, naively retarded to not be like, oh, there's this completely fake narrative about Sitch and Adam in this community that I'm, orbiting.
That I have no
totally not
responsibility
gonna
for that.
just feed into that. Yeah, okay. That's
How
fine.
how am I
Listen,
feeding
it's
into
fine.
that by posting
It's
clips? Wait.
fine.
Explain this. How
It's
am I
fine.
feeding into it by posting clips of you criticizing Trump?
Go read your replies and you'll see the answer to that question.
Wait, but how do I
go read your replies and you'll see the answer? I've already talked about this. I said it was ridiculous. This is how like retarded those people in that community that think that are. It doesn't even make sense.
Am I responsible for their misinterpretations?
Yes.
You're responsible for stoking their systemic dishonesty.
You're not, you know what?
Holy
you're not responsible.
shit.
You're not responsible for their misinterpretations, but you are responsible to protect. Like what you're doing here is you're pretending like you just didn't know any of this was like going on, and that this would totally ramp up all that shit. Yes.
What do you mean by
all that
this
misinformation? All the
I don't know shit about threads,
you know
bro.
that there's this bullshit straw man that exists about me and Adam and our positions on Trump in Destiny's community, and you're completely aware that the way that like you're framing everything is just going to play into that. And if you're not, then you're just an idiot. You're just literally retarded, which is possible.
I'm aware of this narrative, and that's why in one of my responses to Adam, I said, "This is when he said, at this point I would vote for Trump over over Joe. I said, this is why people think da 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 da.
Oh, so you do know. Okay, thank
He
you.
does
Okay,
Hang on a
know.
second.
anyway,
Wait.
thanks for
I've
coming on.
I've always
We have some super chats to read, so
okay.
thank you.
Hey guys, have a wonderful week
Thank
and
you.
hope that
You
everything
too.
goes well. All right.
Okay,
All
Have a
right.
good
thank
one.
you.
Peace out.
Well, that was fun.
That was great.
Okay. Lucifer Domer for 2 Canadians says, smash that like button. Thank you, Lucifer. That's right. Metal Face Rose for $5 says, make Pisco sign a no crying and running to Destiny and DGG after contract before you debate.
We already made
No,
him sign one of those, and he
They did
didn't go.
anyway.
He didn't follow through with it.
No, I mean, there's like a 99% chance that's going to be the response to this conversation anyway. So,
Oh yeah, totally.
yeah. Bob the Hun for $5 says, thoughts on Destiny defending Larry Nassar. He said that we shouldn't revel in Larry Nassar's suffering while he celebrates a Trump supporter's death. I don't. Who's Larry Nassar?
I
Do you know
haven't
who
heard
that
of him. No.
Who is that? Larry Nassar is an American serial child rapist. Wait, what the fuck? Oh, this is the gymnastics coach. Remember that guy? I kind of vaguely remember. There's some gymnastics coach that was like sexually assaulting the girls that he was coaching.
That's awful. That's terrible. And
I
he
don't.
did what? What
What
did
was
he do?
Destiny's statement about that?
Oh,
Hmm. Oh, he's a doctor. Oh wait, someone tweeted this to me. Will you bring this up on stream? Contrast this with what Destiny said about the firefighter who was murdered. He thinks being a pedophile is more forgivable than being a Trump supporter.
what?
And so,
Really? Oh, please, please make it
well,
stop.
this is a tweet. This is a tweet from June 8th. Says Colin Rugg says ex gymnastics doctor Larry Nassar, who abused underage girls, is needing to pay gang members with sexual favors for protection in prison. Good, he deserves worse. Destiny responded to this saying, response to this post are a good example of what I mean when I say most people don't have principles. Quote, we need to forgive prisoners and reform them and let them back into society. End quote, only applies to people who they don't believe committed crimes they find objectionable. Yeah, I mean, that is weird. That is an interesting it is an interesting comparison. Yeah, they'd have that much. That would be your stance for a serial rapist, but if you're like a Trump supporter, it's that all goes out the window.
Is this
So,
recent? I mean, so
it was
many
in
people are
June of
combing.
this year.
Okay. So many people
Yeah.
are combing through all of Destiny's live streams and posting all of these clips, all these incendiary clips towards conservatives. So
Right, which is what always happens in these
Yeah.
situations. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Look, I could not tell you which direction this is going to go. Destiny could
can't
be the
either.
next Alex Jones. Like he could blow up and be a billionaire in a year from now. I have no idea.
True. Well, I think Rudyard made a really good point, which is Destiny is sort of like the head of the non-socialist left on the internet. And if he's making statements, like this, where he's basically, soft, you could say he's kind of like soft supporting, or not even supporting, but soft allowing, sort of supporting a political violence. I mean, it definitely sends a signal to all the other left-wing streamers. So
It sends a signal to all of his left wing audience.
well,
Like,
yeah, yes,
be
and all the
cruel.
audiences connected. Yes. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Look, I think Destiny kind of separated himself. Well, maybe he's always been cruel. Maybe that's wrong. Maybe there is like a cruel aspect to Destiny that people like. Because we often have talked about Hassan being cruel and Vosh being cruel, and that's just part of their shtick that people like. They want to see people beat up on other people they don't like. So
yeah, I saw the 10-year-old thing, but I'm willing to hand wave that off as just like a joke or something. Messi 10-8 for $2 says my opinion is more important than people. Destiny. There you go.
I think that's what's going on. Yeah.
Yeah. RBGH fan for $5 says Pisco, what is the exact moment Trump made that incited the January 6th insurrection? Guess we'll never know.
Right.
Like always, thank you for $5. Says, why should Biden be responsible for the Biden bullseye, but Palin wasn't responsible for her bullseye comment of Gabby Gifford? Well,
Look at
first of
this.
all, I didn't even know that. Did Sarah Palin make a bullseye comment about Gabby Gifford? I didn't know that. Wow.
Yes, she did. Yes, she did.
Oh, wow.
Way,
But
way back in the day. Yeah.
right. But to be clear, I was joking about the Biden bullseye thing. I don't think Biden is. I don't think the bullseye thing is like. It's funny in that conversation with Pierce Morgan. The only thing I disagreed with Pierce Morgan on was him complaining. I think that bullseye comment is nothing. I think that's a little pearl clutching. People are like, oh my god, he said we should bullseye on Trump. Like, well, okay. I think the cultivating the racist, Hitler thing. You could say is probably more indicative of something than just a bullseye comment. So
Yeah, I completely agree. I was joking about the bullseye in the beginning. I don't think, Biden saying the bullseye thing doesn't have any bearing for me on the
right.
situation. So, but I think it's interesting the way the media always frames, like Trump made this comment, which I agree to some extent. He probably shouldn't be making this comment because he's so influential. The comment about immigrants are ruining the blood of America or something like that. It has this vaguely Nazi vibe to it, right?
Right, yeah.
But it's a comment that Trump made one time. Like you might be able to call it a dog whistle, and there's some
Mhm.
merit to that. This whole Trump praised neo Nazis when he didn't, that's not a fucking dog whistle, okay? They're
Right,
just coming
right,
right out and saying that over and over and over and over again. That's not a dog whistle. That's completely dishonest.
right.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
these situations are worlds apart. So, and a little bit of this plays into the like the rhetoric debate that people are having. Oh, the Republicans' rhetoric, it's so bad, right? The rhetoric that Trump did this blood comment one time and the media blew it up, and the rhetoric of the left constantly Trump supporters are like Nazis, 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 Nazis. Like those they don't seem on par with one another at all. People keep
Well,
pointing to
I don't know if
Trump's
I agree with
rhetoric.
that
Okay.
because I think, and this is what I've always said, and I'll say it again. The rhetoric is really bad, and it's just not perceived as dangerous until someone acts upon it. Because, we have had a situation, like what if there was some crazy guy who like tried to kill Fauci because of all of the rhetoric that the right had about like the COVID stuff, and they're just trying to put you in lockdown and so the country can never come, be open again. And this is all authoritarian fascist dictatorship, blah, 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 blah. But we don't kind of perceive it that way because just nothing came of it. Right. And so I think both sides are just as culpable for potential violence. Like if in the alternate universe, no one tried to take out Trump and someone tries to take out Biden, I mean, we'd just be having the same conversation. You say like, oh, look, all this crazy shit they've been saying about, Biden being a socialist, trying to take over America. He's going to steal the election. This is all the deep state, blah, 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 blah. Right. So I think that's kind of the issue of where we're at with politics right now.
Well, look, I agree to some extent.
Hmm.
Someone doing something about it obviously is the tipping point. But you can measure the level of incendiariness of the rhetoric. And
I agree.
I
Yeah.
don't see how people keep saying, oh, they had it coming. Trump's rhetoric is awful. Give me the examples of Trump's rhetoric.
Well, I don't believe that anyone, I don't think he had it coming. I'm just saying that both parties as a whole unit, I'm not even talking about Trump. I'm just saying both sides of the politics here, the left and right, are both throwing very incendiary rhetoric at each other that I wouldn't be surprised if some crazy person would then use that rhetoric to justify trying to kill someone.
I mean, I could obviously be wrong about this because I'm not, I don't, I haven't listened to every
Think of
single
all
one
like
of Donald Trump's
the
speeches, but
I'm
what
not even talking about
is,
Donald Trump
okay.
specifically. Right. Well, actually, no, you could just say like
Look,
Donald
the
Trump
claim
saying,
is Donald Trump is the
right.
source of this
Well, that's not the claim
incendiary
I'm
rhetoric.
making. I know
Well,
that's not the
that's
claim
a
I'm
claim
making.
that I hear
Right.
people on the left making. They're
Right.
saying,
Right.
look, this whole shooting thing, the responsibility comes from like Donald Trump's rhetoric is what spawned this rhetoric of everyone calling Donald Trump a Nazi, which I just think is completely unfair.
No, I agree with that. But I could very easily see a scenario where a crazy person tries to take out Biden or someone because Donald Trump specifically was talking about how, they're the deep state is stole the election from him, and they're going to steal the election from him again, and they're just trying to put him in jail. And Trump also tweeted out the lie about the Biden sent the FBI to kill him in the Mar-a-Lago raid, and remember all the people saying, "Oh, they're sending the
Well,
FBI to
good.
kill
Now you're
Trump."
actually listing the sources of rhetoric, which look,
Right.
I
So
do
yeah.
agree the
Right.
election denial stuff is awful. So,
Right. Right.
but the election denial stuff and the Trump is a Nazi,
Yeah.
I just see them as, is someone really going to? I guess I just think people are more likely to act if they think Trump is a Nazi than they are to act if they think Biden stole the election. I mean, they obviously did act during January 6th, but as soon as someone was shot, like the fight kind of completely went
Well,
out of
yeah,
them.
I
So,
will agree. Like the Nazi labeling is a more simple, easier to digest like message or package, right?
right.
For broad consumption. I do agree with that. And and it was more broadly pushed obviously by the left mainstream, where the other stuff is pushed by like the right punditry space, which isn't as mainstream. I guess it is mainstream in its own like circle. But and I mean like right now, I'd say I don't it's really disappointing because I talked about that, after this happened, I said that I was optimistic, right? Trump was saying, mostly good stuff in reaction. He was being very unifying. I thought Biden's two speeches after this were very good and very unifying. And I was like, maybe Trump can kind of like use this to push things forward in a positive way. Maybe he can use this to kind of like reinvent himself. And then Trump, he put out like a True Social post, which was kind of like a little shitty, where he was talking about how the Democrats were, all the Democrats are coming after me with the fake lawfare and, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, oh no. And then Biden kind of ups that by like 100 in his, I don't know if you saw that. Yeah, I think you did see that interview. I don't remember if it was
Yeah,
with
where he goes
Westworld
to
or
the fine
something.
people hoax in the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, immediately brings up the fine people hoax, immediately says Trump, praise neo-Nazis and, is fucking Hitler. All like just everything just falls back onto what it was, pre the shooting attempt.
Yeah, it
So,
lasted
yeah.
48
So I'm just like,
hours.
okay. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, I guess it's over, whatever. All the reconciliation's over by now. So it's sad. M8566 for $5 says, I like how Sitch wears his suit for politics, but wears his street clothes for covering entertainment. Yeah, exactly. Silver Camaro 78 for $5 says, we should have known Trump would pick Vance as his VP nomination because when Trump picks a partner, he prefers to choose someone half his own age. That's pretty funny.
What are you implying there?
Exactly. I mean, did you see it was funny in the post where Trump was talking about Vance, he referenced his beautiful blue eyes multiple times. So I
Did
don't
he
know, man.
really?
Well, he talked about them like popping on TV or something. It was kind of like weird. It's like, oh, okay.
I
Like,
don't
that's
talk about a
interesting.
man's limbo rings.
There you go.
I steer clear of that conversation.
Right, right. Red 473 for $5 says politics is naturally frustrating, but Destiny is a 35 plus adult. Having an edgy teenager event session is embarrassing. That is true.
Yeah.
Ace for $5 says, Pisco, I know Sitch and Adams audience hates you, but I view you as a good boy, and the world needs more guys like you, a voice of reason. Wow, look at that.
I
Well, there you
completely
go.
disagree with that. But thank you for the $5, Ace.
Yes.
I think Pisco is not a voice of reason. And
No.
it's worse because he could have that perception to people. Obviously, you super chat at $5 because you think he is reasonable. Look, he might sound reasonable, but I just think he's dishonest to the core. Systemically dishonest, of course.
Right.
He
Right.
doesn't intend to be dishonest, but he does what everybody does. The arguments that make his point, that make conservatives look bad and make Democrats look like perfect angels, like he's not going to look honestly at those arguments at all.
Right.
So
Degenerate 357 for $20. Thank you. Says, how is Trump saying, quote, we have to be peaceful and patriotic, fight considering incitement of violence on January 6th, but Biden saying we have to put Trump in our target before an assassination attempt, not incitement to violence. Well, first of all, a couple of things. Number one, I don't think I don't agree that Trump intentionally incited violence on January 6th. I don't believe that was his intention. I believe what happened was violence occurred because of like all of the rhetoric of the election being stolen that he pushed, but it was not his conscious intention to cause people to like break into the Capitol. I think it's kind of what you said earlier, which is that his intention was for people to kind of just go outside and protest as a show of like voting based support, and that would pressure Pence and the Republicans in the House to basically overturn the election. I don't think he intended, at least at first, I don't think he intended for anyone to like break into the Capitol. I think that was kind of outside everyone's uh, like programming of possible events that would have happened on that day. So I don't know
Yeah,
if
and
you agree with that.
ultimately a
Yeah.
reasonable take, but nobody wants that take because they want to frame it as an insurrection or
Right.
yeah.
But though I do think you could criticize after the fact that he did, like we went over the timeline. I don't remember the exact timeline. Um, I think you can't criticize Trump for not being strong enough and repetitive enough. I know he did put out the tweet, but not being strong enough and repetitive in coming on TV, doing the tweets to tell people to fucking stop, number one. And then number two, the fact that he never, ever called the military or anyone to provide additional backup once on January 6th, once people started breaking the Capitol, and it fell on Mike Pence's shoulders to do that. To me, that shows you that once it started to happen, he didn't super care that much to stop it. So I
Bad
think you criticize
move.
him for that. But it's the same thing with Biden. Like when Biden said his like put a bullseye on Trump, I don't believe Biden thought in his mind like, oh, that means someone's going to go and try to shoot Trump. I don't think Biden had that thought at all.
Yeah, we don't man, we know nothing about this shooter yet.
That's
Right?
true.
They're
Yeah.
still trying to crack his phone.
Yep.
Yeah.
Britt
Yeah.
Cormier for $50. Thank you so much for the $50. Says Destiny deserves no goodwill from anyone simply because he gives no goodwill to his detractors. He gets what he gives. I do not think he needs to be silenced, but if companies do not want advertise on his channel, then it's just quote the free market. There you go.
Yeah, that's one of my critiques of Destiny as well. Yeah. He just look, he doesn't give anyone he demands infinite charity and doesn't give any charity. I think the next super chat says basically the same thing.
It was weird though. The one person I think he was giving charity to for a time was Nick Fuentes.
Well, and Mr. Girl, he gave infinite
Right.
amount
And
of
yeah,
charity until he couldn't. I
right.
think he content mines people. I really do. I think this is his.
Oh, because they could provide good content. Yeah, you're
Yeah,
probably right.
exactly.
Yeah, that
So
makes sense.
look, and he wants to content mine us, but I just
Dan Schneider for $5 says Destiny never gives people who disagree with him benefit of the doubt, yet he expects what he says to be interpreted in the most charitable light. Oh, there you
yeah, that's it. I agree, and I put that
go.
heart right there on that.
Did you see Benny Thompson, the main chair of the January 6th committee, put forth a bill called the Disgrace Act? No. What does that mean? I don't know what that means. What was the Disgrace Act? Hmm.
Talking to me? I don't know. I
No,
didn't
I
hear
was
it.
talking to Zero Flex in chat, but
Oh, who
I
knows?
was just confused because Benny Johnson, oh, Benny Thompson. Yeah, Benny Johnson's that streamer guy, isn't he? He said some crazy shit. Oh, man, this drives me crazy. Okay. There's you, you know how there's like we need a new rule in politics. Okay. New rule in politics is that whenever something bad happens, somehow someone on the right has to blame Victoria Nuland for it.
Is
There's
that
already people
really
saying,
happening?
yes, Betty Johnson like retweeted this insane like clipped video to make it seem like Victoria Nuland like knew that someone was gonna try to shoot Donald Trump. It's the most like insane fucking unhinged take ever. Like, oh my God. So dumb. I
She's the
hate
big
it.
deep state operative.
Yes. Yeah, I hate it here. Joe the Mig for $5 says, so this is just going to be Pisco hiding his power level for an entire hour, only to go back to being bad faith, hysterical person on Twitter. Yes. Yes. Gaming Trucker JS for $5 says, Sitch was right about how New York Times frames their articles. Literally, when the assassination started, mainstream media claimed he had fallen due to loud noises. Yeah, I saw that. And I was curious and I couldn't find links. I was very curious as to how long did those articles have those headlines up? Because I wouldn't like if it was only for like a couple minutes, I wouldn't blame them. But if it was up for like a while, then I'm like, Jesus, like that's fucked up, obviously. So M8566 for $5 says, is it fair to say that A team is intuition and S class is logic?
No, it's definitely not fair. Well, look, I obviously use intuition and maybe more than Sitch, but I always follow it up with logic. I mean, intuition can be wrong. Intuition
Right.
is a great place to start with a hypothesis, but ultimately you need to find evidence to prove that hypothesis. So,
I for £5 says Adam needs to grow a pair. He's just letting Sitch argue for him as he rocks back and forth quietly, seething, grinning, and throwing in snark.
well, look,
he's seething to me, but
I didn't want a 2v1 Pisco because I don't think that's fair. So
there you go.
yeah. I mean, I messed up a couple times where I did like laugh and I was like, oh shit, I should just turn my mic off. Yeah.
It's fine.
But then my mic, I don't know what happened, but my mic died. I just couldn't hear. All of a sudden I couldn't hear anything.
Metal Face Rose for $5 says, it's all conspiracy. Destiny's acting like this to make Pisco look good by comparison.
Well, he's succeeding fantastically.
That's funny.
Somebody sent me a clip of Destiny watching our stream.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, Destiny's argument is basically, if you disagree with me, you deserve to die. And Destiny says, true, but I can't really tell if he's being sarcastic or not.
Oh, okay.
So until further investigation, I'm going to say he is being honest. Yeah, exactly.
There you go. There you go.
But if he comes out and says, look, I was only being sarcastic, then I think there's a lot of reframing going on with that argument. And he does have an out that I think he will eventually take. That his ultimate argument, I think, is going to be that, oh, the guy is an innocent victim and, they're just, Trump supporters are just being gaslit by Trump. And ultimately it's Trump's fault and Trump is responsible.
I don't think he's going to say that.
Okay, look. What do you think?
You're right. That would be like a smart thing to say.
Yeah, that's a smart out.
That's a smart out. Because I'm trying to remember. I don't think I've ever heard Destiny make an argument, especially an argument that's got him in trouble, and then ever walk it back in any fashion. So that's what I'm saying. I don't think he'll ever.
Okay,
I think he'll just as we were talking
about, triple down, quadruple
right,
down.
Like, it's kind of like we're talking with Pisco. I think Destiny's just going to, he makes the statement, he gets in all this trouble. I think he's a double, triple down. I think he enjoys making incendiary statements and then trying to like weasel out of them to see if he can get away with it. I think he enjoys it on some like weird, like subconscious or maybe even conscious level. So I think that's kind of what's going on here.
We'll see. Look, we're both on the record. I love it. We'll find out if he does beat that path of retreat. I don't think
he will. I don't think he will. I'm just curious I think, it's curious to see if channel will grow from this or be harmed from this. I'm not sure.
Well, he's definitely going to pick up every single TDS person in the world. Yeah, so, I mean, I think he grows.
Right. But then the question is he then going to become
left-wing Alex Jones? That's where he's going.
I guess it depends on who wins the election. Because if Trump wins the election, then maybe he'll just become full-on left-wing echo chamber again. Because he might pick up a bunch of people. Then if he goes back to sort of being like attacking socialist, then he's probably going to lose a bunch of them again too. So.
Yeah, no, I think chances are good. Trump is going to win the election and Destiny's going to become a billionaire catering to the people who've lost their fucking minds.
Oh, this was the bill, Zero Flex, you're talking about. This was the bill that guy put who was trying to terminate Secret Service protection to felons as an attempt to try to get rid of for Trump. Yeah, I do. Yes, I did hear about that. That is fucking insane. Yeah, that's totally insane and unhinged. And that guy should get some massive blowback for that now, obviously. So that's pretty disgusting. Pretty reprehensible. Like always for $5 says, how is it better to talk about someone viciously with no intention of conversation than is to talk directly to a person with the same energy? It's not. What do you mean?
Hmm.
I mean, I guess it's the same. Yeah. Joe the Make for $5 says, Sitch, you need to nail him on the fact that he strawmanned your opinion. He's never going to admit he was wrong if he can't admit he strawmanned you. Well, he's never going to do that, but that is true.
Yeah, that's
Joe the Make for
why. Like you were diving into the optics thing, and I don't think he's capable of really even arguing in good faith. So
no, no. Joe the Make for $2 says, lol, is this Vosh? Is it all about the optics? It is for him. It is for him. Dillagaff for 13 months of Ori Enlightenment. Thank you so much for over a year. Says, I just want to thank all of you for attending Pisco's final Sitch and Adam stream. Go forth, be loved, and multiply. A team is the harbingers of the Enlightenment. S class is destroyers of bad faith bitches. Oh, thank you.
oh my god. Would you have Pisco on to talk again? I mean, obviously it's like you said, it's completely performative. So
Only if it was like, only if it not like for us to really have a conversation. If it was like to set up like him debating someone else, maybe. But
oh, okay. Every one of you hates him. Like we've had him on. We did have him on that one time when we did try to like, make people not hate him as much. So we could probably bring him on more and argue with him. So
yeah,
but
for good reason. You guys could smell it out, I guess. You could smell it squarely.
Yeah.
But it's funny because like I really, and I still do, I don't know about the Trump immunity opinion. I still have unanswered questions about it. And I would like to have a stream where I can hear lawyers who very strongly believe that it's the worst thing ever and very strongly believe it's not the worst thing ever argue about it.
Yeah.
And it's funny because, yeah, I thought it'd be great. Well, no, because I was thinking like, who can I get for that? And I was like, okay, well, I just heard Pisco talking about it. He's like the most vehemently energized on this is the worst thing ever. And it's funny because I literally thought, is it a good idea to have Pisco on the stream? Because if he's on that side, I know that all of chat is going to immediately not, but like take the other side just because Pisco's on that side.
Oh yeah,
because he's so hated.
That is
he's
a point.
So hated.
That is a good point. Yeah,
so,
they're not going to be able to see it unbiasedly.
Right.
They're going to be like, "There's no way it can be right if Pisco is saying
exactly.
It.
Exactly. Yeah.
You need kind of a neutral arbiter to take the position."
Right. Filthy. Did I read this one? Fifthly casual for $10. Thank you. The time Pisco went to Destiny about the Speak of the House thing was the clearest example of poisoning the well I've ever seen. By the end of what Pisco said to Destiny, he didn't even watch the video. That is true.
Did you miss Joe the Meg?
Oh, you're right. I did. Joe the Meg, thank you so much for the $5. Says it's the same level. Destiny literally celebrated the death of the voter who was ended while literally shielding his family. True. True and gross.
But of course, he says that he doesn't think he deserved it.
Right.
I just, what?
Become the Knight for $10 says, so I learned today that Pisco doesn't have the sufficient free will not to retweet Adam and call him tarded because he's never sent a super chat. There's only one remedy. There you go. If Pisco had sent us some super chats, we could give him some free will in response and, maybe he could control himself emotionally. So,
yeah, that'd be cool.
PC for $10 says people can change their minds, but confrontations will make people defensive. This is pretty well researched. See Haidt and Kahneman. Even Carnegie knew that being friendly works better than debating. Of course, I mean, everyone knows that. But yeah. Samuel Jones for $5 says, used to think Voosh and Hassan were worse than Destiny, but boy, did he prove me wrong. P.S. Bring Seamus on more. Sure. Love talking to Seamus.
Yeah, Seamus is great.
Bosch had a kind of unhinged take on all this stuff too.
Did he?
Maybe we'll watch. Yeah, he was basically he's like, oh, I have to be, if Destiny's like being edgy, I have to be edgy, right?
Oh yeah. He's still doing the Destiny Shadow thing, huh?
Yes. Mike Osborne for 15 months says, I've been subscribed for 15 months and I plan to stay subscribed until Pisco stops being bad faith piece of shit. So like forever, I guess.
Oh, nice.
Oh, thank you, Mike.
Thanks.
Appreciate that. Hayden Dill for $2 says, I see why having him on gets a lot of super chats. There it is.
Yeah.
There it is.
That's the grift, right?
Yep. Oshley for $2 says, God damn it, Sitch, I got the popcorn out. There you go. You're welcome.
So did I. Yeah.
There you go.
It was great, Sitch.
Thank you. JMac, our surrogate father, thanks so much, JMac. The $20 says, lifting is a way better dopamine rush than arguing online. I wholeheartedly believe this. You are completely correct. And healthier, too. And you actually get something to show for it that's healthy at the end of the day, unlike debating people online.
Why can't you do both, though? Usually
You can. That's true. You can do both. TL1524 for $5 says, is it just me or do Pisco and Brianna Joy Gray share similar tendencies? Opinion yelling followed by quiet offended replies leading to victim mentality. Ooh, true. True.
That's a good strategy right there.
Titanium Dragoon Neo for $20 says, great stream lately, guys. Since Mulbug is way more relevant now than anyone expected or hoped, should we be hoping for a third Marvin Yarvin teardown stream with Dav? Oh, I don't know.
Did we already do 3? I feel like we did 10.
I think we did 2.
Did we?
And then it was funny because as soon as JD Vance got picked, Dev was like, he was like tweeting out like, it's time for the third straight. Probably not. Words Hurt for $5 says, good job, guys. Y'all should have done this months ago with Pisco. I guess you're right. Yeah. X Hunter 00 for $10 says, Pisco calls his opponents liars, uninformed, or un-American for having a different view and keeps apologizing for doing the same bad faith
Really?
tactics.
Does he? He got super chapped that I was calling him dishonest. So,
I mean, that's what he was doing when, oh my God, what's his name? I forget. Some lawyer came on who disagreed with Pisco on Destiny stream, and Pisco was like front loading everything with like very incendiary language. Like, if you disagree with me, you're un-American. If you disagree with me, you're dishonest. If you disagree with me, you're anti-democrat. Like everything. But like before, like when they're just supposed to be like talking about like the substance of the opinion. So he can't help. He literally can't help himself.
I think he called me a traitor.
Oh, did he? That's hilarious.
Yeah. Look, don't quote me on that. I mean, a lot of people have thrown a lot of insults at me, and that exchange happened, like a week or 2 ago? I don't even remember.
Daniel Irish for $10 says, got here late. Did Pissant Pisco piss and shit and cry yet? I'll let you be the judge.
Yeah.
Bob the Hun. Oop.
What's up, Hun?
Bob the Hun for $5. Thank you. Says, I don't buy Destiny's quote. I don't condone it. I'm just not sad excuse. Seems like a way to cheer on political violence without being accused of incitement.
True.
Well, yes, especially because...
And that's not sarcastic.
Right. Well, and especially because he made the joke about like, all I see is +1 for Pennsylvania. Fuck her. My parents said, fuck around, find out. Blah, 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 blah. So yeah, no, I think that's a totally fair opinion. Metalface Rose for $2 says, Pico and Sitch are both Suindre. Kiss already. There you go. Chewbacca's Lover for $5 says, I tweeted you guys something you should see. It's how Destiny reacts to Larry Nassar being mocked. He condones that while mocking Trump supporters. Oh, yeah, that's the thing I read. Yes. So I think someone wanted me to bring it up. Dan Schneider. Oh, my God. Dan Schneider for $5 says, can you put the Larry Nassar tweet on screen so we can all see it? We need to draw attention to the fact that he has more sympathy for child predators. Sure. Could bring it up so people can see it.
People must see it.
People want to see.
Of course, we're going to be accused of being bad faith here.
I mean, I don't know if Destiny responded to this accusation, and
that was a giant joke.
Commented on it. So I don't know. Maybe you could say like if I put on like my most good faith Gary goggles in response to that tweet, and I sent it to you, is that I would say it's not necessarily him saying specifically that he's like more sympathetic to the pedos. It's just him criticizing people for not upholding the same standard of principles, which then he's obviously hypocritical in this moment for not upholding the same standard. I mean, I guess unless he doesn't actually, maybe you say I'm not hypocritical. I don't think, I do think people that don't have my opinion, should just get blown away regarding Trump. So there you go.
Yep.
Um, where Lucifer Dillman for 5 Canadian says, Sitch and Adam boys for life. 18 reigns supreme. S class is best class. This is an amazing community. Well, thank you. And it's true. We do have an amazing community.
Yep. All because of you guys.
That's right. Ariat Captain for $2 says, sent another tweet on the shelf, still painting.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah, look at that.
I saw there was a bunch of shelves. Man, you're going crazy. That's awesome.
I know. Very impressive. I'm too lazy to do all that stuff. I would just buy the IKEA shelf.
Oh, so bad.
It's so annoying because you get the IKEA shelf and then it's like so light. And you're like, what is this made of fucking cardboard?
Yeah, you're like, balsa wood. Jeez.
Yeah, you're like, is this going to hold up? Like, oh my God.
A fly landed on it and the thing broke.
I know. Exactly. Chaotic Intention for $5 says, Pisco already lying. Actual SJW is a friend of the show. Adam has great instinct about Mr. Girl, too.
Oh, yeah. Legendary.
That's true. You called it with him. Stock for $5 says, there isn't a way you could have known Adam would consider voting for Trump without also watching him explain that it has to do with cognitive decline.
Look, there was like 3 articles in the New York Times in like a week.
I know.
So I don't understand how he's not exposed to these arguments, and he claims to follow politics. It's like completely retarded.
Right.
The bastion of right-wing writers, the New York Times.
Right.
Anyway, go ahead.
Okay. Anyway, oh, we have the tweet up. Okay, can look at it.
Oh yeah, okay. Here you go.
Take it down. I don't care. I don't know enough about the context of any of that stuff. I have a super strong opinion about it one way or the other. Select for $2 says, exception, you only read the DGG subreddit. There you go. J-Macker Circuit Far, thanks so much for the $20. Says, guys, why are we arguing about this? There's way more important and impactful things happening in the world. For example, Hello Games just dropped a new No Man's Sky patch. I saw that. I've never played No Man's Sky. But
oh my God.
It made me curious to try to pick it up.
If people just engaged in gaming more than they engaged in this, Trump is a threat to democracy.
The world would be a better place, right?
Hell yeah, it would be.
Slenders for $5 says, when also, Trump play video games instead of January 6th, but that's another story. Slenders for $5 says either they're not smart enough to understand others' arguments or straw man of dishonesty. He's insistent. He's not lying. So it's the former. There you go.
Yes.
CS Paffy for $2 says, oh man, I like Pisco now. Man after my own heart. Well, there you go. Pisco's got the CP 2024 vote. I don't know if that's an endorsement you want. But.
Perfect. Yeah.
Become the Knight for $5. Thank you. Says if Pisco had any integrity or self-respect, he would have left long ago after you attacked his moral character. Kick him. He's just attention whoring.
Wow. Coming out hard there.
Chewbacca's Lover for $5 says the quote, I don't condone it, but so what? Feels like a way to support political violence while avoiding incitement accusations or breaking TOS.
True.
Yeah. Yeah. Vagabond Retro for $5 says stream, excuse me. Stream is named Can Adam Make Piscos Cry, but somehow he's the one being bad faith. You literally make fun of people you have debated all the time. Well, first of all, fuck Pisco. This stream was not, at least from my perspective, this stream was not in any way to be, from my end, reconciliatory. Because as I said, Pisco is the scorpion. Okay. Secondly, I don't think that's true. People that we've had a good rapport with, that we've walked away from a conversation in a good way with, I don't believe that's true. We don't go and shit on them or anything like that.
Yeah, look,
so I don't agree with that.
I've literally made Aiden Paladin cry, and we're on great terms. And she talks mad smack about us all the time.
Maybe not anymore.
But, what? What are you talking about?
I don't know. I don't know how she. When we made fun of her last time for the saying that we were like taking money from Brianna Wu. I don't know.
Look,
You know, I mean, I'm not. I don't care,
that was
but I
a
don't know how she feels
hilarious
about it.
interaction. I have
Yeah.
had DMs with her since. Like, there's no hard
Okay.
feelings. Yeah,
Okay,
totally.
that's good. Okay, that's good.
Look, and
Right.
if Pisco had this sort of kayfabe attitude, that would be fine. But like,
Right.
we obviously draw the line at fucking dishonesty. Okay, lying. It's
Right.
just bullshit. It's complete bullshit. I guess. Look, maybe I would think the obviously the things that Aiden had said about like we're taking money from Brianna. It's just like, I mean, that's so laughably crazy that I don't
Right.
think it's going to hurt our reputation. These
Right.
lies that Pisco and Destiny's community are spreading, that look, they're having a tangible effect. It's fucking bullshit, right?
Right.
It's
Right.
completely different.
Arthur Tomlinson for 6 months says, "Peace, quote, peace sells, but who's buying?" Dave Mustaine. There you go. Boy.
Nobody's buying. That's right.
AKA Batosai for 27 months says, "Next time Pisco asks you to identify something, he said dishonest, ask him to explain how the elector scheme can't be fraud to the state."
Look, if you guys want to ask him questions, you can. He's on
Okay.
Twitter. He really wants to interact with you.
That's true.
Look, all that was so dishonest too. The only reason he's coming after me is because he sees us as a big audience of people that he can potentially persuade. I do think he's delusional enough to think he's actually persuading Trump supporters. Sitch.
I don't agree. If he thought he was going to persuade, if that was the goal, I think that's the post hoc rationalization, right? Is, oh, I'm going to try to persuade Adam or Sitch or something in their audience, right?
Right.
The motivation is, I am super angry and triggered by Trump and Trump support at the moment, especially after the immunity thing. And so therefore I'm going to just lash out at anyone who's like in a position that's seemingly not going to vote for, the potted plant.
Look,
That's the
but
motivation.
if we didn't have an audience, he wouldn't give a fuck though, obviously.
Well, I mean, obviously that's what the context of the interaction is in the first place. So yeah,
Yeah.
sure. Dan Snyder for $5 says Destiny has always hated people that disagree with him and look down on them. He's just bounced about it, but doesn't respect opinions not his own. There you go.
Yeah. That's just a horrible way to be honest with you.
Quacker for $20 says Adam is becoming Giga Base recently. Time to go A team and help at Reign Supreme unless Sitch does a feat reveal.
Look at that.
That's funny.
That's Quackers desperate to see your feet.
Ew, I know. Hey Dev, Dev's in the chat.
What's up?
Dialogue always for $5 says what leftist argued you in good faith. I want to recap that show. So you know what? Actually, what's his name? I think argued us completely in good faith. Even though we vehemently disagree with each other. Oh shit, what's his name?
I thought the stream with Cherry and her friend, I think her name's Straighterade. I think they were arguing in good faith. They seem to be good sports about it, and they seem to be totally left wing.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Oh my god, why can't I fucking think of his name?
Yeah, Hunter Avalon.
No.
Oh man, throwing Hunter under the bus. Or were you combing through our old catalog or something? Just trying to think of the name.
I'm trying to like
Ben Burgess, maybe? I don't know.
No.
Yeah.
The black socialist guy.
Oh, yeah. What is his name?
With the dreads.
Yep. What is his? FD Signifier.
FD Signifier. Thank you.
Yeah.
I like talking FD Signifier because he was the only one that, like, when we were talking about CRT, he'd just be like, that's all true. Yeah. Well, for the most part. There's one part where he's like, well, I hadn't heard that before. But I thought, even though we disagreed, I thought the debate was or the discussion was in good faith. So. And he likes anime. And he likes Madoka Magica. So that's always a good sign, right?
Yeah, of course.
Tumungo, thanks so much for the 14 months. And they have a bunch of waves and scorpion emojis and says piss squirp. There you go. Well, Anna's not a leftist, guys. Anna doesn't count. She's on the left, but she's not a leftist.
Yeah, when Sitch says leftist, he means socialist, which is completely confusing because
that's what it's
half the
supposed to
world.
mean.
Yes, I know, but it's just that
Right.
half the world thinks it just means somebody on the left.
Right.
Intuitively, it sounds like somebody on the left. Yeah.
I want someone to ask JD Vance in an interview if he's part of the. Does he identify as post-liberal?
Ooh, that would be a good question.
That would be a good question. Yeah.
I want someone to ask him if he wears eyeliner.
Well, obviously.
Do you think he does?
Yeah, yeah. Look at it. Look at those eyes.
You think he wears eyeliner? Because it does kind of look like he wears eyeliner.
I have no clue.
Maybe he got the eyeliner tattooed on.
Right.
Looks like permanent eyeliner.
Darth XXX360 no scope for $10. Thank you. Says the lib progressive reflex to say, quote, but Trump regarding violent rhetoric doesn't hold up after much research. It wasn't hard to find free John Hinckley signs in Seattle during the Reagan George W. Bush era.
Really? Wow. Wow. That is kind of crazy.
John Hinckley. That's going to be annoying if like it's like a John Hinckley situation, right?
Yeah, well, I guess, yeah. Maybe. I mean, we can all go. Yeah, I saw that too. I thought you did it.
I didn't do anything. Did someone, what happened?
I don't know. I think there were like.
Did someone ban him or something?
I hope not.
No. I wonder, did YouTube ban them?
Who was it? Didn't they give?
They gave like 50 gifted subs.
Yeah, I thought so. What was
who
what was
that
name? I don't know.
Maybe wait, let me go back in the stream. Maybe it popped up like when they donated it. Let's see.
If you click on the go-to channel, it's Thal's channel. So
it was Wooby Funtime. Is whose channel?
It's Thal's channel. If you click on the redacted message,
yeah,
and you click go to channel. Oh no, wait. That goes to a different channel. Huh.
Well, I don't know what happened, but thank you, Wooby Funtime, for the 50 gifted memberships. I don't know. It says it says like I've never seen this before. Not only is the message retracted, but like your icon's just gone.
Yeah,
I don't
like you
know
were
what happened.
banned.
Like YouTube banned you or something, so I don't know what happened. I hope they didn't ban you, but thanks for the
maybe it was a
bot
message. Or something.
I've never seen a bot give like subs like that.
Yeah, maybe they didn't. I don't know. Interesting.
Well, if you're listening, thank you so much. I don't know what happened.
And if you're a bot, get lost. Humans rule.
Well, listen, if you're a bot, thank you for the subs. I want more bots that give subs out, okay? Moondog for $10 says, how is it you guys can get under Destiny's skin so easily? It's so funny.
Did we?
I don't know. Did we? Yeah.
I haven't been watching Destiny's content in a while now because.
Right. So I don't know. Yeah.
I mean, I have been watching this recent interaction, obviously. I think he did.
I haven't watched his content on it, but
yeah.
I watched him on Piers Morgan.
Well, yeah, but I listened on to some of his talk with Elon Musk on Twitter.
That guy isn't Elon Musk. He just sounds like Elon Musk.
Is it really?
Yeah. No, I thought the same thing. I'm like, what the fuck? He's not Elon Musk, but he's not. It's just a guy that sounds like him. It's really weird. Yeah. No, I mean, he sounds just like Elon Musk. It's crazy.
He does. Oh my God. He's a spitting image of Elon Musk.
I know. I was like, holy shit, he's talking to Elon Musk about this. Like I was like, oh, I think actually I tweeted that to you because I was like, oh, I guess the grift is working or something. But no, It's actually not Elon Musk. It's just some guy.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad I know now. I'm glad I'm in the know. I thought it actually was Elon Musk.
So did I, yeah. It sounds just like him.
Yes. Well, look, that makes sense because I was like, wow, Elon is really fucking up in this conversation. He made some good points, but
Yo, did you guys see Vance followed a femboy account? I saw someone say that Vance followed a femboy account. I didn't see if it was actually true or not, but there we go. Dev's excited. First femboy enjoyer VP. Let's see. Metal Face Rose for $5 says Dev says he has a video on the dirtbag left, but I can't find it. Ask him which one it is. Dev, which
Which
one is
one
your
is
video
it?
on the dirtbag left? Fondue for $5 says, "Is it Sitch? I've gotten a lot of side glances for saving. I like Monica. Really? By who? Monica's great. Well, I never watched the movies, so I don't know. I heard they're kind of bad, but the series is great. Who's giving you side eye for that? I thought Monica was like a pretty well respected anime. Hmm. Um, whatever happened to that person that would like made that response video to us for the Star Wars stuff? Weren't we gonna talk to them at some point?
Sure. We'll talk to
Was
them
it
on
worth
our
talking to that
new.
person? I don't know. I saw you guys going back and forth on Twitter, but I didn't really like track the conversation.
I listened to a few minutes of an interview that he did with some other guy, and he was saying that he, I think, directed an episode of Ash versus Evil Dead, and I was like, holy shit, I'm a
That's
huge
cool.
Ash versus Evil Dead fan.
Right.
And I asked him which episode, and he wouldn't tell me, and I was like,
Oh,
oh well,
interesting.
maybe. Like if this is top secret, maybe you're just lying.
Maybe.
Yeah. Well, why not tell me? I mean, he can DM me.
Sure.
He could tell me in DMs.
What's
I
the point of keeping a
guess.
secret? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, totally. That was my
Yeah.
inclination. What is the point of keeping that a secret?
It wasn't actual fandom. It was someone you never interacted with before.
Yes, yeah. And yeah, I didn't really listen to his response to us.
No, I didn't either.
But
Font.
he said he liked the Acolyte though. So
Yeah, he liked the Acolyte. He was making fun of one of our streams going over the Acolyte, and I was like, "Oh, that's interesting. Maybe we
we
could have
went over
a
the Acolyte
debate
last
on it
night.
on the media channel."
Yeah. Well, maybe we'll talk to him on the media channel. Link in
Yeah,
the
that'd be fun.
description.
There you go.
We covered Acolyte episode 8 last night, and oh man, it's horror show.
It's so bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lose for $5 says, "I don't know the drama, but I hope that guy reforms his ways one day." On a different note, are you guys going to watch Trump's speech at the RNC?
Of course.
I mean, I don't know if we're going to watch on stream, but we'll watch it. Is that tonight or doesn't the president usually
I
speak the
thought it was
last day?
Friday. Yeah.
Yeah. The president usually speaks the last day of the RNC. Or
I've been
their
watching some of the
convention.
stuff.
Is it good? I haven't watched any speeches except for the clip of the guy with his dog, which is hilarious.
I watched the Amber Rose.
Yes.
I mean, she's still pretty hot for a face tattoo, which is like,
Mm,
I mean, that's weird. Weirdly conflicted, but so, and the Teamsters guy I watched, which I mean, it was great. Republican Party is trying to dump the corporate globalists and pick up the working class, which
yeah, I
would be
saw Anna
great
was
electorally.
praising the Teamster guy speech.
Yeah. And people were hating on her for it, obviously, because, oh my God, how can you say we're all supposed to be delusional together, Anna? What are you doing?
People are saying
Right?
the Trump speaks tomorrow, and tomorrow's the last day of the RNC.
Okay. Nice.
Okay.
We're streaming tomorrow, right?
Are we?
We can.
Okay, I guess if you want to.
Look, we don't have to if you don't want to, but I mean, it's probably
Sure,
be a
something to
big
talk
news
about. I
day.
don't know.
I don't think, has
There's
Trump done any sort of interview or anything since
I
the
don't think so.
incident? Yeah.
No, I mean, I don't know. Maybe we could watch the Biden interview.
He also,
Actually, I want to watch. There's some speech that Jesse Singal was saying Biden did horrible, and that I wanted to watch. So maybe we'll talk about that.
Trump also claims that he rewrote his entire speech, his entire acceptance
Right.
speech, to try to strike a more conciliatory tone.
Right. Yeah. We'll see if that's true. Yeah,
If Trump pivots to Morning in America, completely aspirational, it's time for hope and change.
be nice.
He can't lose. He can't lose.
Mhm.
You're like, yeah, you can. That Trump
No, no,
praised neo-Nazis
I
meme is
agree with you.
pretty.
If Trump uses this as a reset to become the positive candidate who only speaks about positivity and unity, then he can't lose. I'm skeptical.
That
I
he
would
can
love for
do
that to be
that.
the case. I'm skeptical that Trump could physically, psychologically, emotionally do that. So
Somebody, I mean, he's got to get somebody good in his campaign. Remember how remember how
I remember.
Obama did the big speech on race when all the Reverend Wright stuff came out, the incendiary stuff about the his church preacher or something like that. Very, very like
I remember that
anti-white
coming out. I don't
rhetoric.
remember Obama's speech about it.
Well, this is a huge opportunity for Trump to do something similar to that, to completely like reframe him stuff.
I agree.
The race speech, the chief concern that a lot of people had was that Obama might be like anti-white, and electing a president that was anti-white would be dangerous. I think people felt this primally, right?
Mm, sure.
So he had this opportunity to reframe that that perception. Trump kind of has the opportunity here to do the same thing with his Trump is a neo-Nazi thing, especially after the assassination attempt. So
Yeah.
I don't know that he can do it successfully. Like we keep waiting for him to do it in one of these debates or something, because obviously Charlottesville is going to come up again and again and again. It's like the pillar of Biden's campaign. He has to address it.
Yep.
Like he has to completely
But
reframe
if
that.
that would actually help Trump, if Trump could remain taking the high road, the high ground, and Biden keeps attacking him as like fine people shit, I mean that just cements Trump as winning at that point.
If look, and if he
Yeah.
came out, look, and even maybe took some responsibility. I honestly don't think. I think the media is 100% to blame. I don't think Trump is to blame. I think they
Well, for
completely,
that specific one, I agree with you.
for
With the fine
that
people.
specific
Yeah.
one. Yes,
Yes.
yes.
I agree.
So, but I mean, taking some of the responsibility could be an optical win, even though he is not responsible at all, right? If he goes into that saying, "Oh, the media totally fucked me," and goes into his normal speech about the media, I don't think it's going to be. You can't frame that as taking the high ground, right?
No, of course not. Yeah.
You could frame it as I came out and tried to unite the country after this event, and I deeply regret that that
I was
mission
unable to do
failed.
so.
Yeah,
Yeah, right.
exactly.
Yes.
Maybe not
Yeah.
failed. Failed is a terrible word to say, but yeah,
Right.
I deeply regret that I was unable to do it. Right.
Right.
And this is my opportunity to have another shot at it. Yeah.
Right.
And I want to unite the country. That's something that I want to do, that I've tried to do, that
That'd
people
be
don't
interesting.
want me to do,
Yeah.
but I'm still going to try to do it. Yeah. Yeah. Look, we'll see what happens. Obviously, that is, I think, the message. I think that's a message Republicans want, and I think that's a message Democrats are deeply
I don't
terrified of.
I don't think it's a message most Republicans want, but I think it's a message that the
Really?
undecided voters want. Yeah.
You might be right. Yeah, they might frame it as completely cucking out to the liberals.
A lot of people would, but those people are all going to vote Trump anyway. It doesn't matter. So,
True. Yeah.
and most of the Trump voters will just do whatever they'll just go wherever direction he takes them anyway. So it doesn't really matter at that point.
God, this
Actually,
election is so fascinating.
I know.
Man.
Actual Fandom made a video about how you drop your centrist mask. Oh, really? You should watch that. That sounds hilarious.
Well, he should make a video about how I dropped my centrist label like 9 months ago.
Right. That's funny.
I mean, he's a little behind the times. When was this video made?
I don't know. I think I kind of vaguely remember this like a while ago. So
Oh, okay.
what's the clip with the dog? There was who was it? I think it was like the governor of Virginia or West Virginia or something. He was at the RNC and he's giving like this speech, and then the camera like pans out. And he just has like a fat dog sitting next to him, like on stage. And it's so weird and like hilarious. And you're like, what the fuck is happening here?
That's at the RNC.
Yes. Apparently, like he just takes his dog everywhere he goes, which I think is a pretty smart move for a
Oh
politician.
my
But
God.
it is funny. He's just like telling some speech about like we need to beat the Democrats, blah blah blah. Democrats suck, and then just zooms out and it's just like a little dog smiling, sitting there, like a fat obese dog, just like
I
and
mean, but
it's
it's
just
look,
like
it's a bulldog. You can't go wrong with a
it's a
bulldog, man.
bulldog. It's like a fat bulldog. It's like an obese bulldog. It's like Jesus. Gotta get his dog to lose some weight. But
No way. This
I mean,
dog,
it looks
this dog
cute.
will
You
lose
know,
his all character if it loses anyway.
it's true. I mean, it makes it funnier and it looks cuter that it's a big fat blob. But
Oh my God.
you know,
I will bring the dog up because it is
yeah, bring
amazing.
the dog up. It is very cute.
Oh, damn it.
What?
Wrong file type.
Uh,
How
you
dare
got
you?
yeah, hit with the evil file.
Yeah. Damn it.
Let's see. Stock for $5 says, I don't know how to tell you this, but every one of your subscribers and super chatters is actually JMac. You know what? I could believe that.
Could be true.
I could believe that. Sly Goose for 5 Canadian says, might have lost my job. Oh no. So I'm gonna elevator pitch a Star Wars show about the first wheelchair Jedi to KK. Wish me luck. Well, good luck.
That is a way to go right there.
Is the way to go, yeah.
I mean, hopefully you're not a straight white male. Otherwise,
There you
big
go.
trouble. But
Well, if you do, just you gotta dye your hair like purple and say that you're non-binary or something or queer.
oh yeah,
Hayden Dill for $5 says, yes, this account is also JMac. It's also time for me to come out of the closet. It is the way of the average AT member. Wow, there you go. Terrible. Fondue for $5 says, it's been a long time, Sitch. Some people that have never heard of Monica look at the cover and look back up from their phones with furrowed brows. Oh, because they think they see like it's like little magical girl stuff. So they're like, ew, you're like a pedo or something. Yeah, okay, I get you. Yeah, look at that little fat dog.
it's a great.
Little
Yeah,
fat happy dog. The chat father for $5 says, my smartest friend is woke. He refuses to watch a 3-minute video about Roland Fryer. So yes, they are afraid. There you go.
yeah. That cognitive dissonance is painful.
Right. Look at the little happy dog. Okay.
He just wants to be your friend.
Just wants to be your friend. The real Jose for $10. Thank you. Says, hey, Sitch and Adam, hope you're well. Sitch, did you watch the short I sent you on X? I would love it if you would share it with the stream. It is safe for YouTube. You have my word. Did I watch the short? Remind me what the short was about. I don't remember.
I don't know
Too many
either.
fucking notifications.
I didn't see it.
Jesus Christ.
You get notifications?
I mean, I have too many mentions
Oh yeah.
to like scroll through shit.
Turn those notifications off. What are you thinking?
Well, it's annoying because like I want to have notifications for some things on Twitter, but not everything. And it's like I can't. I don't know if you can do that. So it's just like you just have it off or you just have it on. It's just terrible. Retweeted at me, Real Holznider, for listening. Arrhythmus for $2 says, I can literally hear the duping delight in Pisco's voice when he tries to make the argument that he's trying to convince Trump supporters he's totally not trying to just dunk on Adam. Yeah, right?
Oh yeah, totally.
Arrhythmus for $2 says, Pisco, quote, I'm willing to bury the hatchet of me misrepresenting and dunking on your positions to my audience. Pisco is not a serious person. Exactly. Yeah, it's
That's
funny.
just
It's
what I
like
do. That's what I do with
yeah,
everyone.
willing to bury the hatchet for me doing something that's wrong and obnoxious and you doing nothing wrong. Yeah, it's like, oh, thank you. Dr. for $2 says Pisco would be better off stopping with the fake apologies because he seems to do it every time he gets in quote trouble. He doesn't mean what he's saying. He's just offering it to end the argument with a win. There you go. Dr. for $2 says sounds like an AI trying to understand human emotions. Quote, I said I'm sorry. Why are you not accepting it and letting us move forward? You're supposed to accept it like me now. Error, error. There you go. Dr. for $2 says, on the other hand, I don't like the concept of cancel culture. On the other hand, we did just have an attempted assassination. Feels like half joking about it right after it happened from the lefties is pseudo supporting the violence. You know, Someone asked me about this the other day on stream, and I didn't really have a good opinion because I hadn't really been tracking it, but I've been seeing it now. The libs of TikTok is like I've I haven't liked libs of TikTok for a while, and they're just like they're like so unhinged, I think, in how they're acting right now. Because they're supposed to be the big anti-cancel culture person, and obviously they've canceled a lot of people. And like they're going around and promoting like people, I think if there's a politician who's like promoting Trump getting shot or something, I think that's something that's definitely worthwhile to like blast out here. Our, our politicians, our elected officials should not be making statements like that, right? But there's like
Of
a video of
course. Yeah.
there's like a video of like a woman who's a literal fucking cashier at Home Depot, okay? Who I don't know, she posted some fucking something on like social media about like, oh, I wish they hadn't missed, ha 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 ha. And they like show up this person, I don't know who it was, like shows up at Home Depot and gets them fired. And I'm like, this person's a fucking cashier at Home Depot. Like, fuck off. Like, this is cancel culture. That's like insane. Like, give me a break. Okay. People who work a fucking service job at a large chain. All right. Like, just, they're, if they want to be edgy and make jokes, even if they want to have shitty political opinions, that's fine. They shouldn't be fired from their job. Like, it's totally fucking insane and like ridiculous. Okay. I don't care that the cashier at Home Depot, made a joke that Trump should have died. Like that's a fine thing. We live in a free country. Like this is ridiculous. So a lot of people on the right have just totally lost their fucking mind and just been like, oh, well, they did it to us, so therefore I get to do it to them, even though I don't know this person's opinions whatsoever. Like this is a problem too.
Well, look, let me respond a little bit here just
Okay,
before you
you
go too
respond.
far. Because I think there should be some standard of things that are outside the Overton window, that it doesn't matter if you're famous influencer or you're a fucking cashier at Home Depot. You don't say things that are outside the Overton window. Like if she's sharing child pornography, you wouldn't go, oh, well, she's just a cashier at fucking Home Depot. So,
Yeah, but you think
who
that person
cares?
is like a threat, right? That's the issue with that person.
Look, I think if enough people who are just cashiers at Home Depot start endorsing political violence, we got a big problem. So,
Sure. Well, it's not because there'd be enough cashiers, because that would represent like a large swath of the population,
yeah,
right?
exactly. So
Yeah.
just, and those rules should apply to everyone equally. So I think it's like, are these things outside the Overton window or are they not?
I don't agree. It will depend on like the comment too, but I don't agree. I think if someone's working a fucking service job and they have a bad opinion about something on the internet that's political, they should just leave them the fuck alone.
Okay.
Okay.
I just, I guess it depends. Obviously, it depends upon the statement. And like there are a lot of things, and this obviously happens in the cancel culture with racism, right? Famously, Gina Carano was fired because she did a racism against Jewish people. She was anti-Semitic, right? She posted stuff that obviously she hates Jewish people. I think all of that was a lie. I think that was complete mischaracterization of her position. And I do
Right.
think people can post stuff, maybe I don't know the situation with the cashier that you're talking about. Like maybe what she's saying is, there's a gray area. It's not inciting violence. It's just making a joke, that kind of thing. Like in a situation where it wasn't obviously overt incitement to violence, I would default to leniency, right? But if someone's out there, actively promoting political violence, I don't care if they're just a
I think a
checker at.
person okay. If you have a person who, and you're right. So what they said in response to this, they said in a reply chain, they didn't even post it. They were replying to someone else on like Facebook or something. They said, too bad they weren't a better shooter. Okay.
Right. I
Making a
mean, that's
one,
that's borderline. Yeah,
no,
definitely.
listen, there's a difference between someone making like a one off comment, okay, about that. Like if this person was just going around like posting all these Facebook posts or tweets that are blowing up, like, the person should have killed Trump or something to that effect, right? Then I would agree with you. I'd be like, okay, this person's like unhinged and they're like causing a wave of people to support like open calls for violence. In that
Mm-hmm.
context, I agree with 100%. But if a
Okay.
person is just randomly replying to someone on Twitter, I mean on Facebook, and like, 10 people fucking see it, and then it only blows up because someone posts and says, "Look at this horrible person, we should get them fired." I disagree. I think you can have shitty, fucked up political takes um, in this country, and you shouldn't be fired for it, especially if you're just doing a fucking like random job. Like I'm more lenient with the teachers if a teacher's saying something like that because I think that's a little more like Jesus, like they're supposed to be teaching children and stuff. So that's a little more understandable. But if you're like working a fucking like cashier at Home Depot, I don't give a fuck. No one gives a fuck what your opinion is about politics, and neither should Home
Mm-hmm.
Depot. So it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's some merit to that argument. I just think that could trend in a direction where a lot of
I understand what
people
you're
are
saying. You
making
want to,
arguments
yeah.
like
I mean,
this
I
that are
get
way
it.
outside the Overton window, and you're like leaving yourself in a position where you can't really say anything about it. Oh, look, these people are all they have low status jobs, so therefore they can be racist. They can
I
be.
think I think you got to be selective with it. Like if there's people that are posting shit that's blowing up, you know, I think that's fine to call them out
Well,
maybe.
then it's not because she's a checker at Home Depot. It's because it didn't blow up.
No, I'm saying it's a combination of factors.
Okay.
Like if that person was a politician and then put a tweet and it didn't blow up, I'd say, well, you should still call it out because that's insane. They're a fucking elected official, right?
Right. Totally. I agree.
Right. But if they're just a cashier and they just respond to something with this throwaway tweet,
I guess the
okay,
thing that I don't
I
like is
don't
that it doesn't
care.
seem like procedural fairness to me. It doesn't seem like you're saying it seems like different rules for different people. That's why I
Well, no,
think
no,
it.
no, 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 no. Because what I'm saying is, on a personal level, I think that the cashier at Home Depot should be able to have whatever political opinion they want, whether it
I
be
agree.
pro Trump getting shot, pro Nazi, whatever they want, because this is fucking America, and that shouldn't impact their job of being a cashier at Home Depot. Okay, period. But then you make the argument, which I think is a valid argument, which is, well, we could have a scenario where if enough people are cultivating like this dangerous attitude, then it could lead to societal harm, which I agree with. So that's why I'm saying, okay, so even though I have a first principle where I say that the person should be protected, I would agree with your concern that if something is leading to like a grander or is representative of like a grander violent narrative, that maybe that overrides the first principle I have.
Right.
So that's
Well,
my position.
that's good. Yeah. I just I inciting violence I think is already illegal. There are laws against inciting violence, and a lot of these things are obviously edge cases. Look, I
Right.
think we had this conversation off stream when we were saying because I think Vito was giving me a hard time trying to come up with all these edge cases, and I'm going, dude, you know what inciting violence is? You could tweet out something inciting violence right now. You won't do it because you know where the line is, and you doing all of these edge cases that could be perceived as inciting violence or not, is proof that you do know what inciting violence is. So, and I
Mhm.
do think obviously this is one of those edge cases, right?
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
it inciting violence? I mean,
I don't think so.
not really, but I
No,
mean,
that's not.
it could be characterized as that. And that's why I brought up the racism thing, because that goes on so much with the racism stuff. It's like, is what Gina Carano posted really anti Semitic?
Well,
Well,
it wasn't. So
I
I mean,
don't
that's a different
think so.
scenario because that was
Yeah.
like she was being accused of something that I don't think she even did like at all in the first, or even had that opinion.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's gray enough that people can mischaracterize it that way, which they do, and then get people fired,
Right.
which is exactly, I think, what's going on here with the Libs of TikTok thing. It's like a gray enough area that they're saying this is incitement to violence. This person should be fired.
Hmm.
I think literally that's what's going on. And I agree with you. I don't approve of it from Libs of TikTok either.
No, and I said I think going after teachers is a little more like to me that's more acceptable than like a random fucking service worker.
How about
So
going after, what if it's a police officer?
I think it's more fair. I still don't like it, And I wouldn't personally do it, but I think it's more fair than going after a random and private employee of like Home Depot or a chain or something.
Yeah.
People they're like strumming the fuck out of the Destiny thing. I'm looking on Twitter. They're like, "Oh, I'm a free speech absolutist," and then says Destiny makes edgy jokes, and they say ban him. Like no one, well, not no one. My position, first, of all, I don't think Destiny should be banned, but the I think the reason that people are reacting the way they are to Destiny, even people that are not like very big Trump people, it's not a question of him making edgy jokes. The edgy joke isn't necessarily the problem. The only people that really be mad about the edgy jokes are like the really like MAGA, simp people. The problem is that he's making comments that essentially seem to be aligned with like advocation for either hard or soft advocation for political violence, which is concerning when when people are worried that the shooter was basically motivated by rhetoric to commit acts of violence. So it's not just like, oh, he made an edgy joke about someone who died. It's like, oh, he's making comments about a person that died who maybe we think only did the action he did and killed an innocent person and harmed another innocent person and almost killed Donald Trump because he was, extremified by political rhetoric, possibly. Right. That's why people are mad about it. It's not like an edgy joke thing.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, and I think it's implied that the logic of his argument is that it's deserved. I know he's come out since and said he doesn't think the guy deserved it, but he has made this argument, fuck around and find out. And I think those two arguments are logically inconsistent. I don't see how you can say fuck around and find out. And
well,
the response wasn't deserved.
I don't know. I mean, there's a slight distinction, but I think just using your right of free speech to just exist at a political rally is like not a fuck around and find out situation. Like that's kind of crazy.
Yeah, exactly. But that's the implication of what he's saying.
Right.
I've
No,
also
right,
heard people saying, look, I'm not going to feel sorry for someone who walks off the edge of the Grand Canyon. And I'm like, so you're equating
right.
going
Right.
to a Trump rally as walking off the edge of the Grand Canyon.
Exactly. Yeah. It's not really
just
comparable
scenario.
scenario.
What are we fucking talking about here?
Right.
And not only that comparison totally means that he did deserve it, because look, the guy who walks off the edge of the Grand Canyon and goes splat, I mean, deserved it, right? What was he thinking?
We didn't deserve it, but it's just like what obviously that's the obvious result of your actions, right?
Yeah.
So
It's just
let's see. Solid for $2 says it sounds like he was calling out the hypocrisy of quote forgive prisoner people, not endorsing it. Also, I don't get the end of life cost comment. Is he saying he'll get a life insurance payout if his parents get murdered? Oh, I interpreted it like he meant he wouldn't have to pay for his parents' end of life costs, thus saving himself money.
right. Yeah.
That's what I assumed he meant. Rhythmus for $2 says, I don't agree with what libs of TikTok is doing right now, but I do take issue with the notion that advancing or advocating for political violence is just a quote political opinion because that suggests political violence is valid. I mean that's a fair point. That's a fair point. I should probably use my language a little bit more carefully because obviously advocating for someone to die is not a valid political opinion. Well, not in this situation. I guess it could be theoretically in a hypothetical situation where someone's like a space baby eating alien or something, but or whatever you want to create. But yeah, that's fair. Let's see. Excuse me. Rick knows for $20. Excuse me. Thank you. Says money and political frustration made me dismember, but appreciate this talk with Pisco for insight into how bad tone can burn bridges. Good life lessons. I'm not an ex, but if I engage, I'll remember the lesson and practice respect. Well, there you go. Glad to hear it, Rick knows.
You can't go wrong with that.
Yeah.
That's how you get respect. One of the things that's, I think, infuriating is just we did give so much respect to Pisco, and none of it was reciprocated. So,
No,
like,
yeah, no.
what's the point? At some point, you're like, okay, well, look, if you don't respect us, fuck you.
Right. Yeah,
Like,
exactly. Yeah, exactly.
why are we even trying?
Right. Old School for $5 says Sitch, Trump is reportedly going for a unite the message at the RNC. If he does, accepts personal responsibility, will he vote for him? So as I said, I'm not, maybe I guess you didn't hear. As long as I cover politics, I'm never going to vote for president. Ever. As long as I cover politics in a professional, public way. So the answer to the
Well,
question
what
would
if
be no.
somebody super chatted $100 and said,
No.
if you were forced to vote for one of these,
Oh, I would answer
gun,
that question.
gun,
Yeah, if you,
gun to your
yeah, sure.
head, you know,
Right,
your
right.
mom and dad are going to die if you
Yes,
don't answer.
right.
Like, who is the lesser evil, Trump
Yes.
or Biden?
And that I would
I mean, for
still
me, answering is just as is the
right.
same as voting. Like, how does
No,
that
for
not?
me there's a clear psychological difference.
Is there really? Oh,
I
okay.
don't know, I
That's
can't explain
interesting.
it.
That is
It just feels
interesting.
different to me. I just feel it's different to me.
Well, I can understand
Um
because you're like you're technically well, maybe you are because you could influence a lot of people who will vote that way, even though you don't actually vote yourself. So
I'm not opposed to influencing people. I'm just trying to keep myself objective.
right,
So but to answer the
okay.
question, even if Trump did everything like quote right, I don't know. I would still have probably a hard time voting for him personally because I wouldn't know if it was like legitimate or not. If it was just the rhetoric and then as soon as he's in office, it all goes in the trash can, right? Or if he like if it's in office and then he actually lives by it. If Trump goes, I mean, this would be my dream, right? If Trump kind of goes on the unite the message and he just continues it through the election and then wins. And then when he's in office, he actually lives by that and says, listen, I don't give a fuck. You know, I'm not going to go after the Democrats with lawsuits. I'm not going to do any of this crazy shit. You know, I'm just going to try to pass policies and things that I think are good for America and, you know, just be the person that actually makes America great again, the uniter and all this stuff, blah, 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 blah. If Trump does that, I mean, not only will I personally say, holy shit, this is like incredible, but I think he could go down as like one of the best presidents in modern history if he were to do such an action. Now, I am
FDR,
skeptical.
Lincoln,
There you go. He'll
George
be
Washington.
you'll
Look at
have your
this. I've
fourth
made
turn.
this argument.
Then you'll have your fourth turning. Then I'll agree with Adams' fourth turning and say like Trump is in the fourth turning. Okay.
Fuck Donald Trump. I'm just like you're going to agree with the turning argument.
Right, right.
That's
But
the real news story here.
there you go. But I am very skeptical that that will occur. I'm very, very skeptical that that will actually happen. So,
Yeah.
but I listen. A little part of me it holds out hope. Okay, it holds out hope. I'll be optimistic.
The part that I think could make it all fall apart, and I don't see how you avoid this, is no matter how much of a uniter Trump tries to be, there's a huge constituency that's still going to see him as a Hitler, orange Hitler, Nazi supporter,
Yes.
and they're going to constantly be mischaracterizing him. And I don't know that he has the restraint not to respond. That's the problem.
Well, that's the issue because you're right. I don't. I agree with you. I don't know if he does have the mental fortitude, or I should say, emotional fortitude, to not respond when if he does actually try to go that route, and obviously the media and other people will just attack him and not give him a chance.
Yeah, you
So,
can't.
yeah.
I mean, can he continue to call the New York Times the failing New York Times and still hang on to that aspirational message?
No,
I'm not
no.
sure
He
he
has to
can.
throw. Yeah, he has
Yeah,
to throw all that rhetoric in the trash can, right? Which
yeah.
I don't. It's to me, it seems that's this so ingrained in his personality that unless this really was some kind of, Jules from Pulp Fiction come to God moment, which
It could
I mean,
be.
it could
He
be, but we'll
literally got
see.
shot at. Like, I don't know. It
Yeah,
could be.
who knows? Maybe it could
Yeah.
be, but we'll see. I guess we'll see how the speech goes, and we'll see what he says afterwards. So,
I mean, Jules,
yeah.
that guy was a lot closer. I mean, Jules was at point blank range. I don't know how he missed, but
Well, sure, right. That was the point of the scene. So,
yeah,
um,
still good stuff,
excuse
man.
me. Spankus for $5 says, "My God, I haven't heard this much gaslighting since my last argument with my ex-wife."
Oh
That's
shit.
funny.
That makes me sad.
That's
Makes
funny.
me sad that so, hopefully you're joking about the ex-wife thing, but
Right.
yeah. I say that quite often, like my ex, but I don't have an ex. I have my
There
so.
you go.
But yes, hilarious joke.
Oshacy for $5 says, "I keep going back and forth on the Home Depot stuff. My instinct is it's wrong, but then part of me thinks this is just the world now." I mean, I think that's kind of how a lot of people feel like. They feel like, oh, well, this is the world we live in. The woke people have been canceling people and all that stuff. And I get that impulse. I 100% get the impulse. But this would be my take on that, which is if the you have to be careful because remember, we're all in favor of individualism here, the Sitch and Adam show. And so people should be treated as individuals, not as groups. So if someone who is right wing coded did something and got unjustly canceled for it, that doesn't justify someone being unjustly canceled because they're just left wing coded, unless that person joined in on the canceling. If that person, like, if that cashier, you dug up their whole social media and they're like going around trying to cancel people, then I'd say, oh yeah, fuck that person, right? What's good for the goose is good for the gander from an individual level. But people get into trouble when they say what's good is good for the goose is good for the gander on like a collective level, right? Just because this person doesn't like Donald Trump. It's like, well, just because they don't like Donald Trump doesn't mean that they support people getting canceled or has anything to do with that. I mean, this is like a 50-year-old boomer. Like I don't know what the fuck their opinions are on any of this shit. So
That's a great point. That is a frustrating thing that people do. They just bump into collectivist mode.
yeah,
And they're like, the
yeah,
left did this for so long, the right deserves to do it now. Well,
right,
I'm sure a lot of people on the left weren't engaged in that kind of behavior.
sure.
So
Britt Cormier for $5 says Trump should get up on stage and say, "quote to quote the great philosopher Omar Little, you come at the king, you better not miss." That would be funny, but
that would not be,
that would not be the great uniter. So yeah,
yeah, that would not be what we were talking about, but would be very funny
right.
and probably lose Trump the election, but maybe not. I don't know.
Fondue for $20. Thank you, Fondue. Says, by the way, my opinion on the Pisco. I take offense to the idea that everyone should engage with politics in the same toxic way Destiny made famous. Basically, I will be rude to you, but if you don't like it, you are a snowflake. There you go.
Yeah,
Uh,
we're searching for like the truth of the matter. And I think that's just
well,
so,
I don't care if someone's rude to me. We're
yeah, I
rude
don't,
to lots of people too. What I care about is if someone that I've gone on my way to be nice to is rude to me, right? It's a very different situation. So like if Pisco was just some random fucking leftist or something, I would be like, okay, like I don't give a shit. That's expected, right? So it's just like,
yeah.
okay, that's the issue. People can be rude to each other, but most people, like, even when they're rude to each other, once they sort of interact with each other, they're like, oh, this is a person like that I have a conversation with. Usually that kind of like tamps down for most people, not for all people. Some people just can't control themselves or they don't care because everything's like kayfabe. So
I think truth springs from debate amongst friends. And
well, yeah, continue.
you look, if you're just a bad faith person, you're not really looking for truth. So
Right. Well, also to me again, like even if Pizza was just like a dick on Twitter, like which is rude, I wouldn't even I'd be like, okay, it was whatever, he's just like a dick. It to me, the thing that annoys me is says like, oh, this is a person that's just like unhinged and not worth interacting with. It's not being rude, it's the performative nature of like, I have to stand on a soapbox and like call a crowd of people to surround you as I like insult you. And you're like, oh, okay, I thought we had like a good like rapport, a good relationship. I guess not, right? Like you're just trying to farm me for content at this point.
yeah,
Like you
that's,
don't view me as like a human being, essentially. So
I'm your content.
right, right. I'm like, that I'm gonna pass on that one. Chaotic Contention for $5 says Vito saying he could incite violence is like when Boogie said he could say the N word. The documentary of his was insane. Funny. Dan Snyder for $5 says, why is the quote, they did it to us, not a good justification? Why do you think this is unreasonable? Genuine question. I'm trying to be a bad faith. Oh, well, I'm assuming that you sent that before I gave my explanation for that. So that's why. You don't do it on a collectivist level. If the individual person did that behavior, then I agree. Go for it. Fuck that person. But if they're just part of a quote political team as broad as like the left or the right, I don't think it's justified. Then I think it's dangerous when you get in that territory because lots of people on quote team left or team right do a lot of fucked up shit.
Well, and I
And
think you're
just be
trying to foster an environment where you're giving people the benefit of the doubt. So, and if you're not
right,
going to do that at all, then you can't really advocate for that behavior.
right. Sebastian Service for 20 pens. Thank you. So tit for tat plus redemption/forgiveness is what works. No Marcuse style liberating tolerance should be tolerated. I'm ready to cooperate with the left when they start asking for no cancel culture at all. See Alinsky number 4. Yeah, I mean, I get that a lot of people feel that way. So I don't really have to repeat myself, but I get that that's how people feel. It depends. There is a certain, and it's one of those things difficult. I don't know how you feel it out. Because there is a certain logic to it. It's like, okay, if one quote side keeps shitting on you, right? And all you do is not reciprocate to some level, I can understand the argument that that's just it's like it's never gonna change, right? You're never gonna stop them from doing what they're doing. But I still think you can target it towards the people that are actually the ones doing the shitting on, as opposed to like they just general like random people caught in the crosshairs, and then seeing that as like a victory for your side, for quote your side.
Making an example of them,
All
like the
right.
people who really engaged in cancel culture, Taylor Lorenz. Oh, that'd
Yeah,
be
exactly.
beautiful.
Exactly. Right.
If Taylor Lorenz was getting canceled, you wouldn't. I mean, obviously she
No, because
deserves it,
obviously she's
right?
been a number one participant in canceling people and getting people
Right.
in trouble. Yeah. Right. And I thought it was good that, you had, Jack Black apologize for his bandmate making that statement,
Yeah, I thought
which,
so too.
yeah, which was shitty. And I'm glad he did apologize for it and
And
actually
his
canceled the
bandmate
rest of the tour.
apologizes too.
His bandmate apologized. Yeah.
Yeah.
We you have to be careful not to let you have to be careful not to let the Pisco control you, right? You have to be careful not to let the emotion of anger and revenge control you so that you lose yourself. Because I saw a lot of people who were like not accepting Jack Black and his band members' apology, which I was like, okay, well then you're not. If someone does something that's bad and then they apologize for it, and you just say them to fuck off, then you're not incentivizing them to act in a better way. And that's what, with this situation with Pisco, I'm not incentivizing him to act a better way because I think he's incapable of it, right?
It's just a
But if you,
pragmatic
it's just, well,
play.
I just think, yeah, that's just the way it is because we've already been to this dance. To my knowledge, I don't think people like this is another problem too. People take that feeling, which is a correct feeling. If someone does something and they apologize and you accept it and then they spit in your face again, then you shouldn't necessarily accept it the second time. People, they collectivize that. They say, oh, well, this happens to the left all the time. It's like, okay, but Jack Black isn't the left. Jack Black is an individual person, right? He's Jack Black. I don't know. I'm unaware of Jack Black ever being involved in something like this before. So you got to give people a chance, at least one chance on an individual level. You have to reject the collectivist lens.
Yeah, you have to give people a chance to change their mind, right? Yeah.
Right. Right.
Once they voted for Biden, now they think they should vote for Trump. People have to
Well, for
have
sure.
the freedom
That's
to do that.
right. Exactly. No one games for $10 says, I'm not for banning people for edgy jokes, but believe in holding people to their standard. Destiny correctly says platforms have a right to not host whoever they want. A team reigns supreme.
Sup-up-up-up-reem. Look at that, Sitch. It's in all
There
caps.
you
You're
go.
supposed to yell it out.
Yeah, like I don't care if someone points this out and like the Home Depot person loses their Facebook profile or something. Like that's a different situation than going after someone's job. So
Yeah, the job thing is really, I mean, that's like,
the livelihood thing is really gross. Yeah.
and it doesn't feel like the punishment fits the crime. I think that's the big thing that that's the big thing that you're against.
Sure. And also part of it's just, I look at this person, I'm like, all right, listen, life doesn't appear to have been too kind to this person anyway. So like Jesus.
They're
You know,
lashing out.
yeah, or just like, I don't know. D528, thanks so much for the one gift of membership.
Yeah,
JMac, our
thanks.
second father for $20. Thank you. Says, here's some good news amongst all the bad. Apparently, the Alien 4K remaster is going to add back in Sigourney Weaver's removed bush. Film purists and perverts rejoice. Oh wow. Okay, I'm
Really?
glad they hear that. There you go.
Is she naked in that, or is it just like through the I remember the original
No,
scene in Alien, right, where she's in her panties.
it's I believe I'm trying to remember. I actually did when I was a kid, they actually had Alien come back to theaters.
Mm-hmm.
And if I recall correctly, she's not naked. You just see it like through her
Oh,
panties. Yes.
hmm,
So,
nice.
it's funny if I type in Alien 4K remaster,
Mm-hmm.
um, like the auto fill in is is Bush.
Because everyone, look, I'm googling it right now as we speak. I'm doing the same thing you're
Everyone's
doing.
like, yeah. So there you go. Listen, good for Sigourney Weaver. Okay,
Yeah, of course. She looked good in that movie.
we need to bring back. We need to bring it back. All right, bring back the look.
Great. Love
There you
it.
go. Well, thank you, Jay. This is good information to know. This is good news. Sella for $2 says he said no one deserves to be murdered on Pierce Morgan, but he said his parents would deserve to die because they took an oath when they joined the Air Force, and supporting a tyrant goes against that. Jesus. I
So
feel
now
like
he's giving justifications. Whoa.
basically I think this goes exactly what I'm saying. I think Destiny says shit because he just kind of like fires off and says something, and then he'll just like it's just something he said off the top of his head. It's not like a well thought out position. And then he will just never, ever, ever just say, "Oh, I probably shouldn't have said that. I was just emotional." Like he will just fight it and defend it to the ends of the earth, either because he just doesn't want to ever say he was wrong or change his opinion, or said that he did not change his opinion, but say he did something wrong, or just because he, I don't know, gets off on being able to like twist an argument out of this, saying something crazy and having like an audience support it or believe it or something. Because that's ridiculous. That's a ridiculous position.
They hate that you're making emotional arguments claim. They just totally despise that. They think of
But it's
themselves as
true.
like, oh yeah,
That's
totally.
it's
Look, anger
100%
is an
true.
emotion.
Yes.
Anger is probably the most used emotion.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Right. And I'm even sympathetic to it. I'm even sympathetic to it. So if you just said, I was angry and unhinged and I shouldn't do it, I'd be like, okay. I mean, I'm usually more willing to be like, okay. I'm not gonna like bend over or anything, but I'll be like, okay, whatever. I don't have to talk about it anymore.
But then look, no one's ever going to say I was angry and emotional. It's like
Sure. Sure.
the kiss of death.
Well, it's interesting because like that's been a thing in the internet for like 20 years is like if you ever admit that you're emotional about something, that's like losing. So, because everyone's trying to troll you, right? It's trying to get you upset,
Trying to trigger you.
trying to trigger you. It's interesting. It's like a very like millennials 90 thing. Zilla for $2 says he shouldn't get canceled, but his family should see his comments about them, and they can judge accordingly whether they feel comfortable being around him at family gatherings. Yeah, that is fucking weird too. Like, what? I am curious what the fuck his family's reaction to that is going to be because that's fucked up. That's weird. If I was his family, I'd have a huge problem with that comment
Thank
because I
goodness,
would view it through the
Destiny,
same.
you've worked through our end of life plan.
Yeah, right, right. That to me, like, I don't know if I had a child or parents, somebody said something to that effect. I mean, that could be an irreparable damage of the relationship. Because my view would be like, oh, this is the lens I'd view it if I was Destiny's parents. I'd be like, oh, he was emotional and he said something that's fucked up about us, and he's too proud and egotistical to take it back. So that means that his pride and his ego is more important than like our feelings about saying it's okay that we die. And I don't know if I want to interact with someone like that who's as a family member, right?
Oh
That's to
yeah.
me, that's a toxic person to interact with. So
But I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Destiny's already abandoned his parents over them being Trump supporters.
maybe that's
People are saying they're
possible.
big time MAGA supporters, and it
They
just
are,
drives
yeah.
them insane. So
Right, right.
look,
I don't
we
know. I guess it doesn't
go ahead.
bother me that much because I've basically viewed it that like 90% of the population are NPCs on both sides. And so like I think where Destiny views it, a lot of people view it as like the Trump people for going along with the Trump shit and the January 6th stuff, or like some kind of unique level of shittiness or evil. I just look at it kind of and I hate to say it, I look at it like the morally lucky situation. I'm like, the only reason the left's not in that position is because just chance, right? I could very, I think they're all the same people. I think if there was some situation where there's a Donald Trump like figure on the left who was calling the right racist, saying we lived in a white supremacist society, pushing on the woke shit, but was like as charismatic as Trump, had the same personality as Trump, and did the same stuff as January 6th, I think, 90% of the left would all support it and we'd just be in flip flop land. Like, I see the people as, I guess, interchangeable in that regards.
Yeah, they believed elections have been stolen. It's not hard to convince them that the election was stolen. It wouldn't be hard to convince them of that.
Mm-hmm.
If they had a left-leaning candidate that did that, yeah, they would be. They'd all be
Yeah.
saying they were fighting for democracy.
Right, right. Yeah, they'd be in the exact same boat. So that's why I look at it like, okay, I'm not gonna get too unhinged about, someone having the wrong opinion on that stuff. Unless of course Donald Trump wins the presidency and destroys the country, but I don't think that's actually gonna happen. So, which I think Destiny
Taking
does, which
bets, right? Yeah.
which is
Remember when
part
I
of where
said,
his
look, I would bet
emotions are coming from.
$1,000? I think I said that on a stream and somebody sent it to Destiny and Destiny was like, I would have to give him odds. He wouldn't just bet me straight out $1,000 that Trump would leave office after.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. That's true.
It's like, why do you need odds? I thought,
Yeah,
so it sounds like you don't think he's going to stay in office either.
right. Dr. Diller for $2 says, got a lot of lefties from Canada somewhere on my timeline. Apparently, some prime minister candidate in Canada said he was glad the shooting suspect died, which caused them to lose their fucking minds. Am I crazy or is that fine? Wait, really? That's weird. Why would they? What's the problem? Well, that
They
they're
thought he was
mad
an
that he's
American hero, Sitch.
okay. I mean, that sounds unhinged if that's the case. I haven't really seen those tweets, but that's pretty unhinged. Actually, I think I did see Lance tweeting something about that, but I didn't know what the context was, so I just kind of ignored it.
Lance.
The real Holstander for $5 says, I've been trying to cool down on the hot takes since the assassination attempt, but I still feel really concerned about the state of our military and think the left will sabotage our culture in terms of recruitment. Well, I mean, they already have done that. So we'll bounce back from it. These things come in waves. Pendulum swings back and forth. But I mean, they've already done that. They've already harmed it, but we'll come back from this. The woke shit will ebb and flow. I think we'll be in a situation where the right kind of pushes back and gains a lot of the cultural traction, over the next 10, 20 years.
It's not just a pendulum. It's a circle. Goes around and around.
Sure, sure, sure.
Swings around. The seculum.
Right, right.
Why are you so
The
resistant?
saculum, huh?
It's funny to me that you're so resistant to the idea. Look, I'm just a casual observer here, but it does seem like things are like falling into place
Uh-huh.
rather accurately. So,
Okay.
we'll see. Look, a month ago, you never would have said there was any chance of Donald Trump being a transformational president.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
So I just look, maybe there is still no chance, right? We don't know the future.
Well, there's a chance, right? Question is, will it be taken?
Yeah. Look, he either does or he doesn't. That's why we'll see.
Where was it? Sella for $2 says he told the cute black girl from PragerU that he, quote, loves his mom, but this, as well as his cavalier attitude towards starting a civil war, leads me to believe otherwise. There's people saying he's lost a friend, so he's grieving. I don't know, maybe. I don't know what's going on.
Who's that? What happened?
He's talking about Destiny, I assume.
Destiny had a friend
I guess.
who died or something.
I don't know
Well,
anything
that
about
sucks.
that. But
I mean, I thought maybe something like that had happened. So I also thought maybe it's like drugs. Like, people do stupid shit when they're on drugs, right? And
Right.
when they sober up, they often regret it. So,
Sure.
and then when that regret creeps in, they're like, I need to do more drugs quick.
Mhm. Mr. Bacross for $10. Thank you, Mr. Bacross. Says Pisco uses a very subtle form of lying/manipulation. I was arguing with him on X about the Munini case, and his general move is to either twist or ask disingenuous yes or no question.
True. Yes. He wants
There
to
you
put
go.
you, he wants to cross examine you. And that's what he was trying to do with me. And I was like,
Right.
dude, I'm not on the stand. You're not the prosecuting attorney.
Right.
You come over here and suck my dick.
Suck for $5 is not going to lie. I don't know if this whole thing with Pisco today was very wise. I'd rather y'all not have talked again, but you do you, I guess. I don't know. I thought it was funny.
Wait, what was that? You got to
Uh,
elaborate on why it wasn't wise. I mean,
right. I don't know. I thought it was funny.
it's
So,
not like dangerous or anything.
yeah.
Jeez.
I thought it makes for good content. So, JMac for $5. Thank you, JMac. Our Circuit Father says Destiny has an issue with narcissism and refusing to admit being wrong, similar to Donald Trump. Q Creamy Sheev, ironic. That's a good point.
Yeah, that's a great point. And
yeah,
even the argument he was making with that not Elon Musk guy was very Trumpian. He's saying, look, I need to draw attention to myself before I can start persuading people. And I'm just thinking, this is a terrible argument. If their first impression of you is this guy is an asshole, you're going to have to, you're not going to be persuading those people, right? All you're going to draw to you are the people who already agree with you. Persuasion is out of the question.
True.
Yeah.
Rezagor Nan for £10 says sacrificing your own principles to get even is risky. Be a monster to punish monster situation. That is a very good point. That is risky. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bob the Hun for $2 says Destiny's mom is suffering from Alzheimer's. Oh,
well, that's
Jesus,
fucking
really?
sucks. Yeah.
Maybe that makes his end of life care comment even darker.
Yeah, because he's facing it.
Right.
Yeah,
Electro for 20.
Maybe that's it. Yeah. I don't know.
Right. Electro for $20 says S-Class is best class. And A-Team will get their phrase if they can turn down the temperature of Arizona by 20 degrees. I'm working outside. It's a high 110 and it sucks. Please, Adam, help.
Oh, man. I feel you. It's been super mild in Southern California, but I've seen the heat wave all over the U.S., so.
Why are you asking Adam to turn on the heat? I'm the Jew here. I'm the one that has control of the weather laser, so.
Yeah.
I'll see what I can do.
Space laser.
I'll see what I can do, Electro. I'll talk to them at the meeting tonight.
Can't you just zap a frozen lake up north or something and send some cold front down?
Yeah. M8566 for $10 says I've heard people on the left talk about how they had I've heard people on the left talk about how they had to tragically end friendships because the person supported Trump or didn't get the COVID vaccine. They act like they had no choice in the matter. It's true. It's ridiculous.
That is funny.
I think recently, didn't they finally admit that the COVID vaccine was not a vaccine, but it was a
mRNA thing?
No. What's the fucking word I'm looking for? When something is like a medicine used to relieve symptoms as opposed to preventing you from getting it in the first place.
I'm not sure.
There's a word for it.
Really?
I'm sure someone in chat knows. I thought recently they admitted that the COVID vaccine did not prevent anyone from getting it. It only just alleviated symptoms of it. Therapeutic, thank you, Ren Simano. Therapeutic, yeah. Which actually could cause a lot of legal problems for workplaces that were trying to force people on it, because I don't think you can force anyone to take a therapeutic.
Wow. Where do I sue?
There you go. No one made you take the vaccine. What are you talking about?
Suing my wife.
Okay. Mr. J for $5 says advocating or condoning political violence is wrong, but losing your job is an improper punishment. Ban them and move on. Anyways, appreciate both of y'all. Well, thank you, Mr. J, and that is a good take. I agree with
that.
Fondue Fedora says, so you're saying Destiny's having a Kanye episode? Maybe. Stug for $5 says, I just think it made him look too sympathetic to some people who are more ignorant on his antics or more lefty. No big deal, really, but still, LOL. Maybe, but I thought it was funny, so. That's all that really matters.
It
Kind of
made
not really
Pisco look
concerned.
sympathetic. Oh
Yeah,
no,
I don't know.
I mean, that's a good point.
I'm not really concerned with
I don't. The
the
thing is,
further piss that Pisco will pay. So
those people that he's going to appear sympathetic with are lost. Like, there's no way
yeah,
we're going to win them over. They've been
right.
completely poisoned against us. It's
Yep,
just, yeah.
right.
So, fuck it.
Not gay Ben. Thanks so much. Not gay Ben for 27 months. Look at that. Says I personally think Trump and Biden should kiss on camera. That's the unity we need right now. I agree with that. That's a great stance.
That's what you think, not gay Ben? That's what
That's
you
what not gay
think.
Ben said.
Okay.
Yeah. Right.
Very suspicious.
Oh wow, look at that.
Very suspicious, but we'll take that under advisement.
Okay. Seller for $2 says Destiny's admitted to using Vyvanse, an ADHD medication to focus while researching. Maybe he's addicted. There you go. I don't know what any simple side effects of Vyvanse are, but there you go. Anyways,
All right. Look, we're finally done. We only went 3 hours, but let's stream tomorrow.
good.
Everyone else can take care. Great show.
See you tomorrow.